Good evening, Austintown sports fans. Welcome to Austintown Fitch Falcons Stadium for tonight's football game between the Austintown Fitch Falcons and the Tarblooders of Cleveland Glenville High School. We've come into week number 5 of the 86 season. The Falcons are 4-0, coming off the big win over the Boardman Spartans last week over in Boardman. And John, when a team is young and inexperienced at the beginning of the season, you look towards the big games to see how they perform, and there certainly hasn't been a bigger game this year than the Steel Valley clash between Boardman and Fitch last week, and the Falcons really did the job.
Yes, Randy, we probably passed our first big test. You know, as you pointed out, you know, we have a real young, inexperienced team and playing probably one of the better football teams in the area, especially on their home turf, and coming up with the kind of football game we did last week. You know, I think we're well on our way here to maybe a very successful season.
Kevin, you were coming off that big victory over Boardman, our arch rivals, and it's really emotional doing that. Then you come into the next week and you're playing Cleveland Glenville, a team with a lot of talent, but they're 2-2, and it's a team that the Falcons aren't used to playing, so it's sort of an unknown. How do you get yourself up to come back after a big game to play the next week when it's against an opponent you really don't know too well?
It's really tough to do. Since the Falcons right now are 4-0 and undefeated, they could be riding high in the sense that they may not take Cleveland Glenville that seriously because they don't know about them. They're not from our area. But I really think the Falcons this year have a lot of enthusiasm, and that enthusiasm is going to ride through every game this year, no matter how big or small it appears to be at the onset.
There's a tremendous team victory over at Boardman, but there were some individual players, as always, that were cited for outstanding individual efforts. The awards this week went to Chris Burneye, Donnie Jones, and Bill Rowland for Defensive Lineman of the Week. The defensive back, of course, was Rich Morrow, who came up with 2 more interceptions. That gives him 5 for the season. The offensive back, or lineman, was Damian Billick. The offensive back could be none other than Leo Hawkins, who broke the 78-yard touchdown run for the winning score. Special teams player of the week was Eric Luckage, and the scout teams players were Billy Davis and Derek Fletcher. John, that 78-yard touchdown run by Leo Hawkins was the kind of thing that, you know, you every time Leo starts carrying the ball, you expect some excitement, and we sure got it over at Boardman.
Yeah, and Leo's probably, I think, done a much better job, obviously, this year than he's done in the past 2 years running with the football. He's starting to, as I've pointed out several times, he likes to maybe spend too much time in one spot, but Leo's starting to run more, as we always say, north and south, put his nose to the goal line, and he made some very impressive runs last week. One thing I would like to, before I forget it, Eric Luckage made a comment to me today, Randy, in the hall, that he thought he was the guy who threw the key block on that run. Yeah, I think we weren't sure, and we gave credit to maybe one of the split ends. And Eric, I didn't think he was Superman. He handed the ball off, and to be able to carry out his fake and catch Leo and throw a block, but obviously, or evidently, he was the man that did it. So
well,
we apologize.
We certainly knew Eric was talented. It doesn't really come as a big surprise except the way the play developed, but Eric's done the job all over the field for the Falcons this year, and so we'll make sure that we give Eric the credit for the block that gave Leo the touchdown run. Coming into tonight's game, the Falcons, of course, are confronted with a situation a little bit like they were when they played Columbus, Marion, Franklin, and Kevin, you talked about it in that game, where the kind of breakaway speed that a team has in the backfield or that they have in their receivers puts a special pressure on the defense, and you were the outside linebacker. How do you get ready for the blazing speed that we know Glenville has? Every year when you see the state AAA track meet, you see Cleveland Glenville guys running all over the place in the sprints and the relays. What do you do to try and get ready for this kind of speed tonight?
It's really important that the outside people for the Falcons defense are able to read their keys as fast as they can. Initially, if they read their initial keys, they'll be able to get to where they're supposed to be. So that no matter how fast the backs are for Glenville, they'll be able to make the stop. However, what is most important and what's evident in some of the past games is the Falcons have to contain the quarterback. That's really important. That'll take some pressure off the defensive secondary, and it'll give more sacks to the interior defensive line.
The scouting report on Glenville talks a lot about their quarterback. Number 10, Martin Haynes, has a very strong arm, an accurate passer, and John, one of the things that Kevin talked about, he's another one of these quarterbacks that really enjoys scrambling a lot, and we've seen the Falcon defense chasing quarterbacks all over the field all year.
Yeah, that always creates a problem because, he does have, an outstanding arm, but also has quick feet and has the ability to run probably as well as most of the running backs. And, again, you want to pressure, apply as much pressure as you can, but again, you've got to come, with some control, and as Kevin pointed out, the key is to contain people like that. You can't let them break containment, because then, they come up and start coming up to the line of scrimmage, and they don't only put pressure on, the up front people, but also your secondary, because then they don't know whether they have to come up and make the stop on the quarterback, or, whether they stay back and still play pass defense.
We talked a little bit last week about, we really haven't said a whole lot this year on the telecast, or there hasn't been a lot of talk about playoffs and things like that, where last year we talked a lot about it because of the heavy expectations coming into the season. But we are to the point where they have started releasing the statewide polls as far as the press rankings and the computer rankings. And the Falcons last week moved up to number 13 in the state in the press rankings in AAA in the state of Ohio. But more importantly, the first computerized rankings came out, and the Falcons are ranked 6th in Region 2 of Division Number 1. Leading the division is Gahanna-Lincoln out of the Columbus area. Ken McKinley is 2nd. Groveport-Madison, another Southern Ohio school, is 3rd. North Ridgeville, from I believe around the Cleveland area, is 4th. Westerville North, down by Columbus, is 5th, and Austintown Fitch is 6th. But, early on in the season, the point spreads and things like that really don't make a lot of difference as long as you know that you're up there in reasonable contention, and you remember you have to make the top 4. So, John, even though we're 6th at this point, that's probably, compared to where we thought we were going to be, pretty encouraging.
Yeah, we're right in there right now, Randy, because I think, from here on in, this is probably the meat of our schedule, and, we could win, even 4 out of the 5 next ball games. We're playing some of the best teams in the state, and these next 4 or 5 opponents are going to probably end up the season with pretty good records. So we should be able to accumulate a lot of points, but we're in pretty good position right now, I think. I believe they take the top 4, don't they?
Top 4 out of every region go now.
So we're not too far off the mark right now.
Right. They're introducing the starting lineups here. The Falcons won the flip of the coin, but they declined the choice in the first half, which means they'll get their choice in the second half, and of course will take the ball. To start the ball game, the Falcons will be kicking off, and that will take place right after we get the playing of our national anthem and the Fitch alma mater, played by the Austintown Fitch Marching Band. Has finished the pregame work, and so we are getting ready to get underway. John, one of the things that may well be a factor tonight could be the weather. First of all, it is still, well over 80 degrees. It's pretty hot and incredibly humid for them to be playing out there. And we also have the threat of severe thunderstorms, so weather could play a role in this thing before it's all over.
I would have to think that, if it does rain and, the field gets kind of wet and sloppy, I think we would still have the advantage there. I think we have a little, even though we're not that big, we have somewhat of an advantage, size advantage over Glenville right now, and let's hope that we don't get the storm that they're predicting we possibly could get.
The Falcons will kick off to start the game. Chris Bernay is the man that does the kicking duties for the Falcons. Cleveland Glenville will have 3 receivers back deep. They set up about their 10. Right off the bat, I can tell, John, that the Cleveland Glenville numbers look like they may just be a bit of a problem trying to read. Fortunately, we don't have Cleveland Glenville fans watching to know if we're screwing up.
I just kind of thought it was me, Randy, my eyes. But now, that you mention it again, I'm having a difficult time trying to see them. They're very small.
Number 32 is back in the center. That's Stephen Perkins, a junior. And the ball is headed his direction. He takes it about his 4-yard line. The return is coming to the right. He cups it back up to the center of the field, and he's got a running room out across the 30. Perkins turned that ball back to the inside, and he just about had a seam to go the other way. The right side of the Falcon pursuit was really gone by that point, and that was dangerous.
Yeah, we again didn't do a good job of staying in our lanes, Randy and Kev. We had some guys scattered out there, and that creates some natural seams, and he was only a man or two away from breaking it.
I would imagine that's sort of scary, seeing a guy with that kind of speed, knowing you're the only 1 or 2 people left to bring him down. 1st and 10 for Cleveland Glenville at their own 34-yard line. Number 10, Martin Haynes, is the quarterback. He goes back to pass on 1st down, looking for a receiver. He's throwing deep to number 20, and the pass is just incomplete. 20 had turned to the inside. The pass came over his outside shoulder back towards the sidelines, and he couldn't come up with it. Freddie Smith was covering on the play for the Falcons.
I think Glenville is already telegraphing what they're going to do most of the game, and that's pass, just as Cheney and Menor did in the first 2 games.
I'm certain anyone that has scouted the Falcons and seeing that we're only giving up, about 65 yards a game on the ground, knows that one of the keys to attacking Fitch is through the air. And just as Boardman did last week and the other teams have this year, Glenville comes out throwing on 1st down. They come up empty. It's 2nd and 10. Handoff comes in and on a reverse. Number 22, the ball carrier, still on his feet. There were a couple of tackles missed in the backfield. Number 24 is Andre Hicks for Cleveland Glenville. It will be 3rd down and about 4 or 5 yards to go. Donnie Jones made the hit for the Falcons. Donnie, incidentally, is the leading tackler on the team. He has 44 tackles. Next to him is Chris Bernay, the other inside linebacker, at 33 tackles, and those 2 by far and away lead the rest of the team. The front men for the Falcon defense are Bill Davis at noseman, and the tackles are Tom Buck and Bill Rowland. 3rd and 5 for Glenville. Penalty flags fly. It looked like the tight end on the right side jumped a little bit before the count there.
Yeah, they're doing a little bit of jumping around there themselves, Randy. I'm thinking probably we'll probably find out here as we go along, but probably put in a few new wrinkles for the Falcons, figuring they're probably going to have a difficult time maybe just sitting in there and grinding it out with us. So they're probably going to try and do some things maybe that might be a little bit unorthodox.
Glenville certainly figures that their quickness is where they have to go at the Falcons and try and exploit their advantage in that area. They are not big on the offensive line. They don't have a single man starting that is even near the 200-pound mark. 3rd down and 10 now for Glenville at their own 34. Quarterback rolling out. He wants to throw, but he's dropped over there. He just tried to turn the corner, couldn't get it, and it looks like the outside linebacker, Ron Strollo, made the play for the Falcons, and that time, Kevin, your outside linebacker did a pretty good job on contain.
That's exactly what we were talking about earlier. Already, Ron Strollo contained the quarterback. There was nowhere for him to run or pass, and that stopped the play right there.
4th and 9 for Cleveland Glenville at their own 34-yard line. Leo Hawkins is back to receive. Hawkins has a 9-yard average on punt returns. This kick goes from the line of scrimmage to the 34, short kick, and it's going to take a roll headed out of bounds at about the 49-yard line of the Falcons, so that will be about a 15 or 16-yard punt. And John, the Falcons will start out with excellent field position in their first offensive series.
Yeah, and I think next time we see Glenville punt, I think we're going to be going after it. There was a very, slow snap. The ball just floated back there, and of course the punter took a lot of time to kick the ball. So look for us next time maybe to go after it.
First and 10 Falcons. The ball is marked at their own 49-yard line. We have 9 minutes, 40 seconds left to go in the first quarter. No score yet in the game. Falcons' first offensive series. Eric Luckage hands off to Leo Hawkins on the first down play. He's across the 50, and he is upended inside the 45-yard line of Cleveland Glenville, and it looks like he'll be down about to the 42-yard line. Gain of almost 9 yards on the play. Leo Hawkins has an outstanding average per carry of 7.2 yards. That's outstanding.
And of course, there he picked up 9, Randy, so that's not a bad start.
Second and 1 at the Tarblooders 42-yard line. Eric Luckage with Hawkins and Smith in the backfield. Handoff goes inside to Freddie Smith. Freddie's inside the 40, and he will have the yardage for a Fitch first down.
Fred Smith taking the ball for a first down. The stop was made by Rich.
That's one thing I think we've been able to do, Randy, here the last few ball games especially. We've got a lot of balance offensively. We've been able to run effectively inside, outside, and also, our passing game is getting better each week, I think.
Setting the Fitch offensive line for you, the center is Joe Carson, number 51. The guards are Burneye and Buck, and the tackles are Billick and Rowland. First and 10 Fitch at the Cleveland Glenville 38-yard line. Handoff goes to Leo Hawkins. Hawkins cuts it back inside, and he'll get very little that time. It looked like he tried to take it to the outside, but Kevin, the Glenville defense was stacked up pretty well to stop the sweep on that play.
Already, the Glenville defense shows the speed and quickness of the team. What their linebackers are doing is flowing instantly to the ball. However, if we cut back inside on a counter or a trap play inside, this over pursuit might harm Glenville.
Gain was 2 yards on the play. It is 2nd and 8 for Fitch at the Glenville 37-yard line. 8 minutes to go in the first quarter. Rich Morrow is in motion. The handoff goes to Leo Hawkins, and he does cut back against the green. And just as you called, Kevin, good yardage. Leo will be inside the 30-yard line, down close to the 25 or 26, and will gain another first down for the Falcons. That was exactly what you called.
Hey, that's why I'm up here.
Not bad.
What really is happening now is what's happened all season, is the combination of a strong offensive line, our offensive line, executing really well. They're opening up the holes, and this leaves Leo Hawkins in the open to use his running back skills.
First and 10 Fitch. The ball is at the Glenville 27-yard line. 7:30 to go in the first quarter. Rich Morrow again goes in motion. Handoff goes to Smith. Smith is down close to the 22-yard line. It should be pickup of 4 or 5 yards on the play. And the combination of Freddie Smith and Leo Hawkins in the backfield really makes it tough for a defense to key on anybody, because they burn you once with Hawkins going wide, and then they bring Smith back up the middle, and it just makes it a tremendously difficult challenge for any defense. The split ends are alternating, bringing Coach Hartman's plays into the game. Right now, Rich Turner is in the ball game. Ted Sorego has gone out. He brought the last play in. Handoff goes to Hawkins. Hawkins cuts it down near the 21, 22-yard line. There'll be a short gain on the play. Gain of about 2. It will bring up 3rd and 5, and this will be the first 3rd and long play the Falcons have had this evening.
And we're in 4-down territory, Randy, so we've got 2 plays to pick up, about 5 or 6 yards. And of course, we've already started drives similar to the ones that we've seen in the last 3 or 4 weeks, where we haven't had too many real long runs, but we've managed to grind it out, eat up the clock, and put points on the board.
The tight end in is Ron Strollo, number 86. The wingback is Rich Morrow, and again the backfield, Freddie Smith at fullback, Leo Hawkins at the tailback slot, with Eric Luckage handing things off. Hands it to Leo. Leo is going to be stacked up at the 20, and Glenville does a good job on the first of the 2 shots we had to pick up the first down. This will bring up 4th down, and 4 yards to go for the Falcons. The ball is sitting right at the Cleveland Glenville 20-yard line.
And I think what we've got to do right now, too, Randy, those linebackers are, as Kevin pointed out, they're really over-pursuing, and they're doing a little bit of gambling because they're filling holes right now. We got to start maybe with a little bit of play action, throw the ball, over behind those linebackers so we can keep them honest.
Okay, we've got our first field goal attempt of the season. Apparently, Chris Burneye is setting up at the 27-yard line. 37-yard field goal attempt for the Falcons. Teddy Sorego is the holder. There's movement on the line. Donnie Jones was hit by the player from Glenville coming across the line, and it's just a matter of who made who jump. And the Falcons are clapping. Number 76, Tom Bartfi, who's in the ball game, is clapping. And the offside is against Glenville, and that 5 yards will give the Austintown Fitch Falcons a first down at the Glenville 15. John, do you think we were really trying to field goal, or we just went with the stutter count to draw Glenville?
I thought maybe it was just an extra point try. That's probably what they were going for, and we just, everything that happens on our extra point or conversion attempts are held true there. We just, something about that cadence, again, it causes a lot of problems for our opponents.
Especially for Glenville, who has not played Fitch in the past. They may not be aware of that tendency. First and 10 Falcons, 15-yard line, Cleveland, Glenville. Eric Luckage, the ball carrier, cuts it in at the 15. He's down at the 10-yard line. Pick up of about 5 yards for the Falcon quarterback on the keeper on first down.
And again, that's the type of play that can freeze those linebackers. You just run some play action up inside there, and right now, just watching them, they're committing to the first ball fake, really. And you'll see, I think the coaches probably have picked that up, and they'll take advantage of it.
Second and 5 now for Fitch at just inside the 10 of Cleveland Glenville. 4:44 left to go in the first quarter. There are flags all over the place again. Rich Morrow went in motion, and there was movement. Again, we'll have to figure it out. I don't know. Kevin, did you pick up who moved there?
No, I didn't. I only could call the plays.
Okay. Well, we're going to get you a goal line call here in a minute.
I think they had this right defensive end or outside linebacker around. He was in the neutral zone, and that's what they called.
The penalty flag is again against Cleveland Glenville. I think that is the third flag that we have seen against Glenville.
I think that penalty right there against Glenville was the result of their using stunts and lining up towards our strong side on the offensive line where we have the wing back. They were eager to stun in and try to make the big play, and a bit too eager.
Glenville mistakes have certainly cost them in this drive. The Falcons are coming to line, but we still haven't got the sticks straightened out on exactly what the situation is. I believe it will be the Falcons picked up a first down with that penalty. It will be first and goal. Okay, Kevin, here's your shot. First and goal at the 5-yard line. What are you going to do?
They're going to rush right now to the left side, the wide side of the field, with wingback coming down and sealing off the penetration on that side. It's going to Leo Hawkins.
Okay, pretty safe call, I think. Eric Luckage calling the signals. Handoff goes inside, I believe, to Freddie Smith, and maybe the Falcons would have been better off with your call because Glenville was waiting in the middle that time.
Well, Lou Holtz is safe at Notre Dame for now.
Somebody, I think, blew an assignment there, Kev, because the down lineman there met Freddie, head up one-on-one without even being touched.
No gain on the play. It is now 2nd and 5 for the Falcons at the Glenville 5. 3 minutes and 50 seconds left to go in the first quarter. Falcons trying to get on the scoreboard in their first possession of the night. The drive started at the Fitch 49. We got movement in the Fitch backfield. Freddie Smith jumped early, and there are 4 penalty flags. I think everybody got a chance to throw the yellow that time. This one is going to move Fitch back, and illegal motion is the call. Freddie Smith moved just a little bit before Eric Luckage was ready to take the snap. And that is the first penalty of the game against the Falcons, and it will move the ball back to the 10-yard line.
And hopefully we get a score here because, just looking at it, we're not really executing as well as it might seem here. We have moved the ball deep down in their territory, but a couple penalties have helped us, and even there, they're getting much too much penetration. We're missing some assignments, and we talked about overconfidence, and that's what happens. Mentally, sometimes the kids aren't ready.
3:20 left to go in the first quarter. 2nd and 10 now for the Falcons at the 10-yard line of Glenville. Handoff goes to Leo Hawkins for inside. Touchdown, Falcons!
And no doubt about that. That was well executed. Leo didn't even get touched, I don't think. A nice job inside again by our front people.
The handoff was faked first to Freddie Smith, and he went inside, but he was headed towards the wide side of the field. And the handoff came back to Leo again through the middle, but he took it to the right, to the short side, and there was no one from Glenville anywhere near being able to make the stop on Leo Hawkins, and the Falcons jump out in front 6-0 with 3 minutes and 13 seconds left to go in the first quarter of action. Chris Bernay is ready to attempt the point. The snap, the kick is up, and it's good. 3:13 left to go. Austintown Fitch 7 and Cleveland Glenville nothing. You know, that's one of the things that we've noticed as the season has progressed. You know, we saw in the Menor game that Chris Bernai and the holding, the whole works added up to, I think, 3 missed extra point attempts. But since that point, Chris Bernai hasn't missed a single point after attempt this season, and that could be very important as time rolls along.
Yeah, because we're going to be getting into some, real close ball games, Randy. I hope, we win some of them decidedly, but I think, we're getting up against some tough football teams here the next few weeks, and an extra point or a field goal, could win a few of those ball games for us, really.
What's really important for the Falcons now is not to go down any more notches in enthusiasm. They really don't have the fire that they had in their eyes last week, and it may be a result of not knowing Cleveland Glenville, and if they go down any farther in their enthusiasm, it may be a problem.
No doubt the Falcons haven't looked nearly as crisp as they have in recent weeks. They are on the scoreboard 7-0. Chris Bernai gets his foot into this one, and it looks like it's going to be taken at the 8-yard line. Ball carrier's out across the 20. He's to the 25, and he's met by about 5 Falcons at the 25-yard line. Ted Serrego, Bill Davis, Rich Turner. Number 60 is John Dorenzo, I believe.
You're right, Randy.
Yeah, John Dorenzo.
I think John's down.
Also on the play was Keith Motter. Motter is a junior.
And there's how you overcome or compensate for that quickness or speed, Randy. We had at least 5 or 6 people with the football. You got to get some people to contain those kids with all that speed, and then, of course, if you get enough bodies there, you get...
We saw on the first kickoff return that Glenville tried to start the return down one sidelines and then cut it back to the middle, and that's what this ball carrier did. And this time there were more than a couple of Falcons waiting for him, so the coverage team did a good job on stopping the Cleveland Glenville Tarblooders from returning that kickoff all the way. John Dorenzo walks off the field, and that's certainly a good sign. It will be 1st and 10 for Glenville at the 27-yard line in their own territory, where they'll start their second possession. The first possession went nowhere. They ended up with a 4th and 9 situation and had to punt. The short punt set up the 51-yard touchdown drive by the Falcons. And this is Glenville's second shot. The handoff comes inside quickly. The ball carrier is out to the 30-yard line. Donnie Jones wraps him up, along with Dan Serrego and Chris Bernai.
One thing Glenville's doing right now is they're coming to the line really quick and setting up quick and having a quick snap. And that's what they're trying to do, is confuse the Fitch defense by not letting them get set up and read the formation.
Well, quickness is the key in every respect with their athletic ability and the way they want to approach getting to the line and getting the playoffs so that Fitch can't adjust. They gained 3 yards on the first down carry. It's 2nd and 7. The ball's just short of their own 30-yard line. The quarterback is looking. He has a fly pattern, and it's intercepted. What a sensational catch out there by number 21, I believe. Mike Starry came up with the interception. That looked real dangerous for a minute, but Mike Starry really adjusted the ball and went up in the air and came down with a nice interception, John.
Well, he did exactly what he had to do, Randy. He sat back there and played the football, not the man. The first ball game or two there, we commented about that we were coming up and committing too soon, and we were playing people instead of the football. Now you've seen the last 2 or 3 weeks where we're actually playing, a good zone defense. He sat back there and actually caught the ball at his apex like you're supposed to and made a nice, really a super interception there.
1st and 10 Fitch, just over their own 45-yard line with 1:51 left to go in the first quarter. Eric Luckage back to throw, throwing deep to Rich Morrow, and he falls down. They're looking for a flag on the interference call, but the officials wave it off. Rich Morrow fell down or was tripped, and
you haven't seen a Cowboy game?
I don't know.
They got their feet tangled up, and, of course, that's the official's judgment there, whether it was coincidental or intentional. I guess he felt it was coincidental, so we got shortchanged, I think. That was fixed, I think, because that ball was right on the money.
Boy, I'll tell you.
He stays in stride there. We got a touchdown.
Well, I've been in trouble before for saying things about the gentlemen who officiate the games, and far be it from me to say anything about that. 2nd and 10 Fitch, their own 45. Handoff inside. Freddie Smith across the 50, and he's driven back when he gets to about the 46-yard line of Cleveland Glenville, which will bring up a 3rd and short situation.
And Glenville, I tell you, Randy, and Kevin has impressed me already with their hitting. You know, you can hear the pads banging out there. They're coming up and popping people. They're not shying away from anybody. They're not that big, but I tell you what, they're putting their nose in there.
To give you an idea of Glenville's size on defense, their front 4 go, the ends are 5'8", 169 and 5'6", 173. Their tackles are 5'9", 180 and 6'2", 182. 3rd and 3 Falcons. Handoff goes to Hawkins. Hawkins across the 45-yard line, and he'll be dropped, I believe, short of the first down. A good hit by the man coming up from the secondary, number 22 for Cleveland Glenville, Alan Harper, and he drove Leo back, and I don't think he was able to get the first down. We'll have to see on the measurement.
And size can be deceiving because those kids are so quick, especially up front. You fire out at them, and all of a sudden they're not there, and sometimes they can create more problems than the bigger kids.
What have I been noticing so far about the Glenville defense, to quote Coach Hartman, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. They've been doing a lot of stunning, and I see like 6 or 7 players flying in straight off the ball, not reading any keys, and have them turn around and see the ball's 10 yards behind them.
It's a matter of trying to guess and guess right, and that usually is the sign that you think you are up against superior size or superior opposition, and you try and compensate for that. And I'm sure Glenville came in here respecting the job that the Fitch offense has done this season, and that's why they're gambling. They have another situation where a gamble may well be in order. It is 4th down and 1. They have actually about 6-7 inches to go, I think, from the way the measurement was. The Falcons are going to go for it. Ball is at the 44 of Glenville. They actually have to get to the stripe, and Eric Luckage goes up the middle on the quarterback keeper, and instead of getting 1, he got about 5. Good surge behind our center, number 51, Joe Carson, and they do the job on the quarterback sneak.
And there's a case where I think size, was a factor, Randy. We went right at him with a bunch of people, and of course, without any problems, picked up the 1st and 10.
Carson, the center, Chris Bernai, and Tom Buck, the guards, led the charge, and the Falcons pick up another first down. This time it is at the Cleveland Glenville 39-yard line with 25 seconds left to go in the first quarter. Fitch ahead 7-0 and on their 2nd march of the night. Luckage hands off to Hawkins. Hawkins hands back to Rich Morrow. Morrow is out across the 30-yard line, and he'll be down close to another first down.
And people are booing her for some reason, Randy. I don't know why.
The ref was in on the tackle.
Of course, the way the officiating's been, I think I might have cheered for that instead of booed, but we'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
Job. He came up and made the hit.
Rich Morrow on the reverse, taking the handoff again from Leo Hawkins. He picks up 11 on the play. It is good for another first down. And that is the end of the first quarter. The clock runs out with Fitch at the 29 of Glenville, and they enjoy a 7-0 lead at the end of 1.
And Kevin made a good point there several times, Randy, about the way they are gambling, and I think you made a good point also, the fact that the reason they're doing that is because they're probably outmanned. And that type of play there usually hurts that type of a defense because all you have to do is just seal people down and make one kick-out block, and you got somebody in the secondary, especially when they gamble in the wrong area. And that seems to be what they're doing. It doesn't seem like there's any rhyme or reason for why, where they're stunning from and when they're stunning. So, we're going to continue probably to hurt them with those types of plays.
7-0 Fitch at the end of 1. We have a reasonably good crowd, all things considered tonight. The opposite side of the stands where most of the Fitch people sit, it's probably about 2/3 full. And there are not many fans that have made the journey from Cleveland tonight, but that's somewhat similar to the situation we had with Columbus, Marion, Franklin. Next week, I doubt sincerely that there will be any problems with floating a pretty big crowd in Falcon Stadium, especially if the Falcons can continue and hold on with a victory here tonight, because they are playing the Massillon Tigers.
And Massillon will bring more than 50 people, I think.
You can bet there'll be a lot of orange and black in this stadium.
Two other zeros, I think, added behind that 50. That should be quite a football game.
Cardinal Mooney 14, Ken McKinley 7.
Interesting score that we just got over the stadium PA, 14-7, Cardinal Mooney playing Canton McKinley. That's an interesting matchup. Number 1 AAA team against number 2 AA team, and right now AA is winning, and of course we play both of them. First and 10 Fitch, Glenville 29-yard line. Eric Luckage keeping the ball, looking to throw, fires to Rich Morrow. Morrow makes a nice grab at the 15-yard line and down to the 10. Morrow, you know, we've seen the great hands that he has when he's picking off other people's passes. He did a real nice job of reaching down and coming up with that catch, Kevin.
That was an excellent catch. He was even falling forward when he was trying to catch that ball, and he was able to scoop it up. It was a good catch.
Of course, that's quite a compliment coming from a man with hands like you had.
Oh, of course.
And we must compliment the coaches again, Randy. That's an excellent call again, because the linebackers are vacating that, you know, especially their passing responsibilities, and that's the area that they're going to pick on right behind them.
First and 10 Fitch. The ball's at the Glenville 11. They can pick up another first down before getting into the end zone. Long count. Handoff goes to Hawkins. Hawkins at the 6-yard line. He's driven forward. He may get the 5, gain of about 6 yards on the play. Leo came into tonight's ball game with 8 touchdowns and a total of 50 points scored. He's added 1 touchdown tonight already.
I wouldn't let him get on me like that, Kevin. I seen Randy drop that. What do they call those batons, Randy? That you
No. We don't. No, we don't use batons at Fitch. No.
Okay. Maybe that's why they don't use them.
You're doggone right. Second and 5 for the Falcons. Under 11 minutes to go. Handoff goes to Hawkins again. He's hit at the 5, drives down. He's still on his feet down towards the goal line. The Falcons signal touchdown, but that's not the guy that counts. They're going to mark it at inside the 1-yard line. They'll say Leo came up just inches short of his 10th touchdown of the season. It will be 3rd down and
Leo Hawkins bringing the ball down.
A yard to go for the touchdown, and probably just a matter of inches to go for a first down. I think it'd probably be almost impossible to get a first down without scoring the touchdown where the stick is, but
maybe not, Randy, because they probably would, I think, maybe not. They'd drop it on the ground if it was in the end zone.
It's definitely outside, but handoff goes to Freddie Smith. Smith is hit at the line, and they're going to mark him short of the goal line again. The official calls timeout to sort of straighten things out. Falcons once again signal touchdown. Once again, they're overruled.
Yeah, well, Freddie kind of ran like a mole there because he had his head down and eyes closed, and if he just kept his head up and just veered a little bit to the right, he could have just walked in, but we'll get it this time.
Well,
there's that elusive first down.
So much for not being able to get the first down without the touchdown. The Falcons pull it off. Looking at the stick,
that still amazes me how an official can spot the ball that well, anyway, especially when bodies are all tangled up like that inside, and they managed to mark it about 1.5 inches away from the goal line.
First and goal, Falcons, 9:30 left to go. Touchdown, Falcons. This time they are not denied, and I believe Eric Luckage took it over by himself, and the Falcons come up with their second score of the night.
And again, a nice methodical drive. We didn't have any real big plays in there, but we were able again to pick up 3 and 4 or 5 yards of crack. And again, we're down to 9:34 here in the second quarter already, and Glenville's only had the ball, what, twice?
They've had it twice, and they have yet to pick up a first down. This time they turned it over to the Falcons via the interception. The Falcons go 55 yards for the score, and Chris Burney in to attempt the extra point. Cleveland Glenville.
Who was offside there, Randy?
I think the man that hurtled over the center may have been the one.
And then the 7 that followed him.
Yeah.
But they are not the first ones to do this. We've seen this week in and week out.
Well, that one cost us 5. That time they called procedure against the Falcons. And this will make it a little more challenging for Chris Burney. It will back him up from the 3 to the 8-yard line.
And I guess one positive thing that we can get out of this is that we can work on our field goal kicking because it does move it back a little bit.
They will put the ball down at the 15-yard line. That makes it a 25-yard extra point attempt, same as a 25-yard field goal. Teddy Sorrego puts it down. Burney gets his foot into it. It's certainly long enough, and it's good. Chris Bernay converts, and it is now Austintown Fitch 14 and Cleveland Glenville nothing.
And needless to say, guys, I think we've got control of things here, especially the line of scrimmage. They're just it's going to be difficult for them to hang in there, especially in the second half, because we've seen some much bigger and probably a little bit better football teams kind of wilt, especially in the fourth quarter.
In the second quarter.
I was going to suggest the possibility that Glenville might open up the playbook and go for some of those extraordinary off-the-wall plays, but they've already been doing that.
Falcons up 14-0. 9 minutes and 34 seconds left to go in the first half. Cleveland Glenville's experimenting with another quarterback on the sidelines. I'm not sure what that means. They're going to make a switch, but number 12, Byron Pope, who is a sophomore, is warming up. Bernay nails this one to the 7-yard line. It bounces off one man, picked up by another. He's out across the 15, and he will come up short of the 20-yard line. Harper made the return, but Glenville certainly didn't need the problem with the handling of the kickoff, and they will start with their worst field position of the game.
Stop was made by Don Hauser.
Donnie Hauser and Chris Bernay, along with Donnie Jones, make the tackle. Hauser is a sophomore. The quarterback is number 12, Byron Pope. Glenville has changed quarterbacks. They're out of the I formation. Pope looking to throw on first down. Fires it out to the sidelines. It is complete across the 25-yard line. That is the first completion of the night for Cleveland Glenville. Gain of about 7 yards on the play.
I watched Pope warm up before the ball game, Randy, and I thought, he impressed me anyways as being probably the better thrower of the two quarterbacks we've seen so far. So maybe now this is why they've changed quarterbacks. He might not be able to run as well, but he probably has a little better throwing on.
Well, Glenville down 2 touchdowns certainly has to use the air to try and get back in this thing. That time they come up with a gain of 7, and it's 2nd and 3 for them at their own 27-yard line. We have a correction on the name. Carl Reed is the quarterback. The program that we have has the wrong name listed, so Carl Reed, a junior, is now in the ball game, a quarterback for Glenville. On the second down play, they end up losing about a yard.
And that play wasn't timed up very well. It was some kind of a end around or flanker around, and it took at least 3 or 4 seconds for the ball carrier to get to the quarterback, and of course that gave us plenty of time to get up to the line of scrimmage and make the stick.
Danny Sorrego made the play for a loss of a yard. It is now 3rd and 4 for Glenville at their own 26-yard line. Reed hands off to number 32 for Glenville. Stephen Perkins took the handoff, and he'll come up with a loss of about 1 more on the play. They'll mark it close to the original line of scrimmage. They tried to cut that back underneath, but the Falcons did an excellent job, Kevin, of being alert to what that play was.
What the Falcons are doing right now is just reading their keys, staying home, and making the plays like they have to.
And they're doing something else that teams do when they're out man. And do you see the splits, Randy, in the line? I haven't seen them that big in a long time.
Glenville's going for it on 4th down. The pass is intended to number 80 on the sidelines. Richard Mitchell was the intended receiver, but Reed's pass goes incomplete. Glenville really gambling deep in their own territory on 4th down, and it comes back to haunt them. They couldn't complete the pass. The Falcons came up from on defense and did an excellent job of stopping the trick play, and the Falcons are going to have a short drive if they convert this time. It will be 1st and 10 for Fitch. The ball just shy of the Cleveland Glenville 25-yard line. We have 7 minutes, 8 seconds left to go in the first half. Falcons up 14-0, threatening again after Glenville comes up on the loss on downs. Leo Hawkins, the ball carrier on 1st down. Leo crosses the 25, but he doesn't get much more than that. Short gain on 1st downs.
And they have been effective. Anytime, there's not really, like our second man handoff where there's a play fake to the fullback and then we give the ball to, Leo or whoever. They do a pretty decent job. But anytime there's a, fake to one back and we give the ball to another, this is where the type of defense they're playing is hurting them, because they're all just congregating where that first fake is being made. For handoff.
Ted Sorrego brings the play in from Coach Hartman. Steve Iacobucci checks out of the ball game from split end. 2nd and 8 for Fitch at the 24 of Glenville. Handoff again goes to Hawkins. Hawkins across the 20-yard line, jumps over a man and is down to about the 15, and that should be good for another Fitch first down.
Falcons taking the ball for a first down.
The Falcon line is just executing well and opening up the holes for Leo, who's running well. He's using that good leg strength he has to break tackles and get extra yardage.
The tackles for the Falcons again. Damian Billick, number 77, who was the offensive lineman of the week last week, doing a good job. He's 6'1", 222-pound junior. And Bill Rowland, 6'2", 235-pound senior. 1st and 10 Fitch, 15-yard line of Cleveland Glenville. Handoff goes to Fred Smith. Smith is tripped at the line of scrimmage and falls forward, but a penalty flag comes flying in late.
Caught by Chris Robinson. There's a flag on the play.
They're going to call holding against the Falcons.
Yeah, I wish Mr. Nagy would have been working maybe our last 2 ball games, Randy. We've seen a lot of that, and it was against us. Nobody seemed to want to call it, though. And tonight now, of course, you get a game that might be a little bit out of control as far as they're concerned. And
give you the officials' names. The referee is Steve Nagy. The umpire is Jack Mang. The linesman is Dave Jones. Line judge is Roy Johnson. And the back judge is Leonard Holloway. The holding call moves the ball all the way back to the 24-yard line. That will make it 1st and 24 for Fitch. 5 minutes, 45 seconds left to go in the first half. Fitch ahead 14-0. They have the ball in this possession after Glenville gambled on 4th down and couldn't convert. Luckage hands off inside to Fred Smith. Smith drives down across the 20-yard line. He'll be down to the 17 or 18 of Cleveland Glenville, so there'll be a pickup of about 7 yards on the play. That will make it 2nd and 13 for the Falcons.
By Marcus Tate.
Marcus Tate makes the play for Cleveland Glenville. To give you the names of their linebackers, they have number 37, Leonard Davis. The inside linebacker is Marcus Tate, number 53. The other outside linebacker is number 33, Joe Sanders, out of the 4-3 defense that Cleveland Glenville plays. Under 5 minutes to go. Danny Sorrego's in a wingback. Handoff comes inside to Leo Hawkins. Hawkins still on his feet, drives inside the 5-yard line. Excellent balance by Leo Hawkins, as he'll be down close to another Fitch first down.
and great second effort there, Leo. Although there was, the play was executed well at the point of attack, Leo did manage to break 2 tackles.
First and goal for the Falcons on the
Number 84, Eric McMahon, checks into the ball game for the Falcons at tight end. Donnie Jones is in the ball game now at the fullback spot. Rich Morrow comes back in at wingback in place of Dan Sorrego. First and 5 for the Falcons. First and goal. 4 minutes, 30 seconds left to go in the first half. Handoff goes to Hawkins. He goes up in the air, and he's really drilled at about the 2 or 3 yard line. Number 20, David Mitchell, made the play for Cleveland Glenville. He got Leo when he was up in the air, and John, you talked about before how it sort of makes you cringe when you see Leo come off the ground, because just like that, you get met when you're in the air and you have nothing behind you.
He took the words right out of my mouth, Randy. That's exactly what I do. I cringe because I could remember a few times doing that myself, and it hurts a little bit. And you see he come down, he was off balance, and they almost twisted him like a pretzel there. And that's a lot of times where ankles and knees are hurt. And
second and 3. Leo again, the ball carrier, and touchdown.
Leo Hawkins going to 3 yards for the score.
Touchdown number 10 on the season for Leo Hawkins, and the Falcons jump to a 20-0 lead here in the first half. Chris Bernai coming back on the field in last week wasn't much of a problem, but the week before with Columbus, we were worried that his leg might get tired doing all the kicking. And he's had to do a lot of it here in the first half tonight. Teddy Sorrego to hold. And there's a mix-up on the handoff. Sorrego looking to throw, and there's a penalty flag down. I think they're going to call holding maybe on Chris Bernai. He was laying on top of a man over there.
Best out of 3 falls, I think, in that one, Randy. I think Chris won, but he got caught.
Oh, let's see. That's a different call. I think we had an illegal man downfield.
Penalty against the Falcons, declined
Or blocking below the waist. It looks like it is.
Okay.
Or kicking in the shins, I don't know, something like that, man.
Whatever it was, Cleveland declines the penalty. The Falcons come up empty after the problem on the snap, but it is Austintown Fitch 20 and the Cleveland Glenville Tarblooders nothing with 3 minutes 40 seconds left to go in the first half.
Tickets out. We have the winning tickets for the game football and 50-50 drawing.
Well, Kev, what do you think? About this time it begins to be a lot of fun, huh? Being out there in a situation where, a lot of the pressure, I guess, is taken off you because you're up by 3.
It's definitely statistic time. You try to get as many tackles for losses, fumble recovers, anything you can get. It's also good for team experience because eventually, if the score keeps this way, we'll see a lot of replacements coming in and a lot of kids with good experience.
Out on the kickoff coverage team, I see number 66. That's Dan Black out there. Try and get some other numbers. Number 22 is Motter. The ball carrier for Glenville is out across the 25. He'll come up short of the 30, so the Falcons accomplish their goal there. Donnie Hauser, the sophomore linebacker, leading the tackling, and we see Hauser a lot leading the coverage on special teams. He does a real good job there.
Kevin, what is the goal? Is it inside the 30? Do you have awards in that? I know we used to have, if you kept the opponent inside the 30-yard line, we got points for that. Do they have something similar now?
Well, starting last year, they eliminated that whole scheme with Falcons on the helmet and awarding for certain things like that.
First and 10, Glenville at their own 29-yard line. 3:14 left to go. Handoff comes inside to number 24. Fumble on the play. Rich Turner comes up with the turnover for the Falcons. There's a big hit on the play. And number 24 for Cleveland Glenville, Andre Hicks was really wrapped, and the ball came loose, and Rich Turner comes up with a fumble recovery. And the turnovers continue to mount up. We talked about takeaway giveaway at the beginning of the season, marking a good team. Coming into tonight's game, John, the Falcons were plus 10. And they've now taken away 2 more tonight, and that's an incredible statistic.
And I think we had, 1 turnover, and that was last week. That was the first one, and the only one, I guess, that we've had up to this point, which is fantastic.
Penalty flag on the play. It was first and 10 for Fitch at the 34. They didn't get the play off in time on the change of possession, so that will cost Fitch 5, and that's the first delay of game penalty we've had this season, and that used to be something that every once in a while you come up with them and everybody scream and holler about delay a game, but that's the first one for the year.
Yes, Ryan, that's, of course, it's frustrating, being a coach, a former coach, the fact that people don't realize you only have 5 or 10 seconds to actually come up with a play or choose a play from maybe a possibility of 30 or 35 sometimes. Of course, you usually try to limit a game plan to less than that, but there are, a lot of plays that you have to choose or pick from.
First and 15 for Fitch. The ball's at the 39-yard line at Cleveland Glenville. 2:41 left to go. Lucky's looking to throw. He fires out to Leo Hawkins. The pass is incomplete. Hawkins was covered by number 20, David Mitchell, for Cleveland Glenville, so it will be second down and 15 yards to go for Austintown Fitch.
And my prognostication, I think, is looking better and better every week. I predicted back before this season actually started that I thought this team was going to do quite well, and they're again, as we've pointed out several times, really meeting the challenge. People didn't expect this from them, and the kids are coming out there and really proving themselves.
Second and 15 now at the 39-yard line. Dan Sorrego, wingback, goes in motion. 3 receivers to the left side of the field. Handoff inside to Freddie Smith. Smith across the 35-yard line. Short yardage on the play. They tried to catch the Glenville defense open up the middle, but Glenville did a pretty good job on the play.
Yeah, they haven't quit. They're still hanging tough even though they're down by 3.
We talked before, particularly in the Columbus-Marion Franklin game, where when you get in a situation like this, it's not necessarily you're trying to run up the score, but you work on things that you want to use against a future opponent. And with the Massillon Tigers coming up, not to mention Cardinal Mooney, Warren, Western Reserve, Canton, McKinley, and Ursuline, this gives you an opportunity to do some of that. I know the Glenville people don't particularly want to be experimented on, Kevin, but it's something in a game condition when you get a chance to work on things, you have to take advantage of it.
Certainly what Coach Hartman's going to try to do is just run basically the simple basic plays that they've started at the beginning of the season and just work on them in execution. It's not really nice to say, but it's somewhat like practice at this point. What you don't want to happen, though, is have injured players, have injuries at this point when the score is 20-0, which still, there's a whole half to play. You never know what can happen.
We used to have a lot of fun with this, Randy, from a coaching standpoint, because we all knew each other quite well, you know, the area coaches, and we knew that they all had representatives up there each ball game, and you always tried to throw something in there that would maybe take that 5 or 10 minutes away from their practice time, because they had to prepare for it, you know, just in case you might use it. Even though it might be only once or twice, you know, it could lose a football game for you.
The Falcons took a timeout trying to get things together here. Coach Dave Hartman is out on the field talking to his offensive troops. He is the primary man behind the offense while he gives the defensive coordinator duties to Coach Jack Kenny. Coach Kenny's troops have thrown 2 shutouts in a row trying for number 3 tonight. This is 3rd and 12 now for Fitch at the 34 of Glenville. Luckage looking to throw under pressure, fires, he's got a man, Rich Turner, but Turner is going to be dropped at the 25-yard line. Gain of 7 yards on the play. That will leave them 3 yards short, but we are certainly in 4-down territory. What we have, what do we have? Penalty flag?
Yes, we did. I believe it's on us. They're pointing towards us, and somebody may have lined up offside, which shouldn't happen. Now we got an ineligible receiver downfield again.
I think what we're seeing now is the Falcons may be getting a little too confident in themselves. They're not performing totally to their 100% ability, and then some people are just making mental errors.
Coach Hartman is not the type that likes mental lapses and getting lax. He doesn't tolerate it in practice. He doesn't tolerate it in game situations, and even though he's ahead 20-0, he certainly is not going to be happy that we're making mistakes like this at this point, because you just can't afford that kind of lapse in any game, and especially with the kind of opposition we're going to be playing.
And that only means one thing, Randy. You beat yourself, and that's what you don't want. You know, you start making mental mistakes. It's bad enough physical, but mental ones, you end up beating yourself, and you don't mind losing to the opponent, but you don't want to beat yourself.
Falcons again take a timeout. The ineligible receiver downfield penalty not only cost the Falcons the yardage, but it is a loss of down penalty, so it is now 4th and 17 yards to go. The ball is at the 39-yard line. They need to get to the 22 in order to pick up the first down. This drive, of course, started after the Cleveland-Glenville fumble, and the Falcons trying to take advantage of it. One of the things that they were excellent at early in the season has been the ability to take advantage of turnovers and turn them immediately into points. Rich Turner is in the ball game for the Falcons at split end. Steve Iacobucci checks out. Eric Luckage, the quarterback. Back in the game, the first time we've seen Mike in a few weeks, is Mike Jones, number 70. Mike is a 5'10", 192-pound senior. He was injured in practice a couple of weeks ago and missed some time because he hurt his ankle. And it's good to see Mike healthy again and back in the ballgame. He's in at tackle for the Falcons right now. 4th and 17 for Fitch. Luckage keeping the ball, and he's dragged down at the 40-yard line. He'll be sacked for a loss, and Glenville will take over.
I know he still has the ball, but what about his head, Randy? Does he still have his head?
Well, I'll tell you what, taking a look at his uniform as he goes off, he resembles the hunchback of Notre Dame, because he's all messed up there. They grabbed him by the top of his jersey and just dragged him down, and his uniform's still messed up, but he's out there playing defense. 1st and 10, Cleveland-Glenville. The ball is at their own 39-yard line. 1 minute, 30 seconds left to go in the first half. Falcons up 20-0. Reed back to pass on first down, bumps into his own man, and he's taken down. The quarterback sack is by number 73 of the Falcons. Rich DeChalk, a sophomore tackle, 6'1", 175-pound sophomore, comes up with the sack.
I was just going to maybe comment the fact that we might be a little bit too big up front there, and that they couldn't, you know, pass block us, but Mr. DeChalk's not that big, Randy, and did an outstanding job there sacking the quarterback.
To chalk in the game, also now at noseman is number 52. That's Darren Fetzko. Again, Glenville to pass on second down, firing long. And the pass is caught, but it's out of bounds. Number 20 was the intended receiver. David Mitchell came up with the reception, but he caught it out of bounds. Ted Sorrego, Mike Starry on the coverage, along with free safety Rich Morrow for the Falcons. It'll be third down and 15 yards to go for Cleveland Glenville from their own 34. 45 seconds left to go in the first half.
Yeah, it was pretty good coverage there, and it really was a well-thrown pass. It was only about a half a step from a completion, staying in bounds, and we didn't do a bad job there, really, playing pass defense.
Again, the Glenville Tarblooders are using a different quarterback than they started the game with. Reed, the junior, is now... Don Hauser was rushing the quarterback. He was taken down on the play. The pass was completed from Reed to number 24, Andre Hicks, and that will be the first down of the ball game for Cleveland Glenville. They come up with the conversion. The gain is out to the 41, almost 42-yard line, and with 39 seconds left to go, down 20-0, Cleveland Glenville comes up with a first down.
Randy, I believe you've got the wrong marker there.
Oh, never mind.
See what happens? You get overconfident.
I usually only do it to that other guy that works with us. What's his name?
Well, I've been with him too long. Fourth down play. The pass is incomplete. It was intended again to number 20, David Mitchell.
I know you're a nice guy and everything, and you're trying to... But that was short by about 9 yards. I think.
9 yards?
About 9.
9 yards, okay. Well, it is really hot.
Oh, it is.
It's real hot.
It works on the mind, I think, after a while, Randy, the heat.
Timeout charge to Glenville. Near the end of the first half, the score is Cardinal Mooney 21, Canton McKinley 14.
Quite a game going on at YSU, 21-14. Cardinal Mooney over Canton McKinley. Of course, you'll all know what happened with that by the time you hear this. For now, it's exciting.
Points surprised me in that game, Randy. I thought that would be more of a defensive struggle. Mooney hasn't really done that well offensively this year, and usually, in a game such as that, the defenses usually dominate, but that's 35 points in the first half already.
Last week, Cardinal Mooney had to go into the fourth quarter before they finally scored on Ursuline, who has an excellent defense. Mooney won that ball game 14-0 in their Steel Valley Conference action last week. But tonight they're jumping all over Canton McKinley, who is undefeated and ranked number 1 in the Associated Press in AAA in the state of Ohio. Cardinal Mooney, of course, ranked number 2 in AA, and Cardinal Mooney, incidentally, is ranked 17th in the nation by USA Today. Canton McKinley is ranked 24th. Other opponents for Fitch that are ranked, Massillon, although they lost last week, they're still ranked 8th in the state in AAA. The team that beat them is ranked about 20th, Canton Glen Oak, which says a lot about the rating system. First and 10, Fitch at the Glenville 41-yard line. 30 seconds left to go in the first half. Lucky's looking to pass on first down, firing deep to Rich Morrow, and it's intercepted. Intercepted at the 5-yard line. The return is out to the 30, 35-yard line, and he's hit from behind at the 35. Number 80 for Canton, for Cleveland Glenville. Richard Mitchell comes up with the interception, and Glenville immediately takes timeout. The game is getting just a touch on the sloppy side here.
Right. I think if Varigan had just a little more zip on that, Rich had the defender beat by a step or two, but it was just underthrown just slightly, and of course, nice interception by the defensive back.
First and 10, Glenville now at the 34-yard line. That is the first turnover tonight by the Falcons. They have taken one away from Glenville in the air and one on the ground. Coach Jack Kinney is out on the field talking to his defensive troops. And aside from maybe a little bit of lack of enthusiasm because of the way the game's flowing, this heat and the humidity really is oppressive. And, the guys really look like they're dragging out on the field.
This reminds me so much of the Cheney game last year where we had 100% humidity out there, and by halftime you're dragging. By fourth quarter, I remember. Well, I was hoping for the replacement.
We debated this before, too, the fact that whether you get whether or not you get more cramps in cold weather or warm weather.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I talked to a trainer about that afterwards, and he thought that I was right, that in this kind of game condition you get more cramps than when it's cold, because you dehydrate and you get cramps.
That was my opinion also. Did
I say something about it being cold? Reed is the ball carrier, and he's driven out of bounds finally by number 80, Don Hauser. He doesn't quite get back to the line of scrimmage. We have 8 seconds left to go in the first half.
Not to belabor that point, but being honest with some guys used to get them just from the tape being too tight. Sometimes, you know, circulation or whatever, the tape being wrapped around the knee or an ankle too tight used to cause them. So, we'll have to, from medicine
if any fans out there want to write in about when you're more likely to get cramps, we'll certainly put that on viewer mail. 2nd and 11 now for Cleveland Glenville. Reed back to pass, firing deep. This one could be picked off. It is again by Mike Starry, but he drops it as he hits the ground. Starry trying to come up with his second interception of the half, and he knocks it down to end the first half. At the end of one, the score is Austintown Fitch 20 and Cleveland Glenville nothing.
If there's any area, Randy, that we've really improved in, I'd have to say it's in, you know, our secondary. We've really, you know, improved, I would say, 200% here, especially in the last 2 or 3 ball games. They're really, you know, doing the job.
The secondary is coached by Sean Dockery, and one of these days we'll talk a little bit more about the different coaches and what their responsibilities are. This staff has done an excellent job this year, and they deserve a lot of credit and recognition, and we'll do that as soon as we get the chance.
Good as day as any.
we might just do that later. Right now we're getting ready for the halftime performance by the Fitch Band, and we are at halftime 20-0, Fitch over Cleveland Glenville. Now, sluggish things seemed just a little bit in the first half. I suppose maybe the performance on the field was similar to the performance here. Everything's been going reasonably well, but there have been little mental breakdowns somewhere along the line.
Yeah, I think we've lost a little bit of our concentration too, but we'll try and hang in there. Give that old college try.
Well, I did my halftime research, and I've got the coaching assignments so that we can talk about this. Okay, John, you ready?
No, I wouldn't push it so fast.
You want to save this? Well, how about Coach Hartman? Coach Hartman is the head coach, and he also coaches the offensive backs and inside linebackers.
I knew that.
Okay, you knew that? Okay.
Was this a test or?
Well, you're going to be tested on this. We're going to have next week.
Okay.
Okay, Coach Jack Kenny. He is the defensive coordinator and coaches the offensive tackles and defensive outside linebackers.
The best position, of course.
You mean offensive tackle?
No, outside linebacker.
Outside linebacker.
I just passed that anatomy and physiology test you gave me here.
Yeah, okay.
So I think I can handle this one.
Okay, well, just keep that in mind, because I'll be passing along information as we go, and you will be held responsible later.
That's a good idea to give some of those people. We mentioned them as a group in many instances, Randy, but it's nice to point out the different positions, although probably there's occasions when maybe they might not want to own up to, you know, some of the kids maybe that maybe have a few breakdowns out there, but I'm sure they would take all the responsibility for anything that happens out there, because you never as a coach want to fault the kids. You know, they're only human beings, and
certainly this season there has been plenty to be excited and proud of about what the coaches have done with these kids, and it is continuing on this evening as we have jumped out to a 20-0 lead at halftime, and some of the changes have already started. Back deep to receive for the Falcons is a sophomore, Derek Fletcher, 5'9", 140-pound sophomore. He won't get a chance to handle it, though. Leo Hawkins takes it at the 25-yard line. He's trying to get underway. He's out across the 30, about the 32. Glenville, and the first time we've seen them kick off tonight, kicked the low driving kick, and Hawkins took it at his 25-yard line and takes it across the 30, and that is where the Falcons will start for the first drive of the second half. They lead 20-0.
Again, they come down and pop some people there, Randy and Kevin. They've impressed me when they have had the opportunity to hit people. You know, they're not the least bit shy.
Let's not forget that this Cleveland Glenville team was 8-2 last year and are expected to do well this year. They are 2-2 at this point. Handoff comes to Rich Morrow on the reverse. Morrow is hit by a man at the 40-yard line.
You know what?
And
did you see who was downfield trying to throw a block?
downfield leading the blocking was Eric Luckage.
Number 30?
Yeah, so we'll have to watch him more closely on the downfield blocking. Kevin, that'll be your responsibility the rest of the game.
8 yards.
He sounds fun.
Second down, 2 yards to go for the Falcons. The ball is just short of the 40-yard line. 11 minutes to go in the third quarter. Luckage hands off inside to Smith. Smith is dumped as he goes across the 41-yard line, but he should be very close to the Fitch first down. The official stops the clock to take a look.
By Ron Johnson.
And we're probably as guilty as the average fan, Randy, of following the football and not really sometimes paying attention to some other things that happen around it, and this is why sometimes we do miss things like that, and we apologize.
You mean like when you call first down and it's really 4th and 9?
Right, 4th and 9. You
Yeah.
forget to look at both sticks, and
I think that's reasonable.
I got excited a few times in the press box when I thought we had a first down, and here we were in a 3rd and about 9 situation.
First and 10 Fitch at the 42-yard line. Handoff went to Freddie Smith. Smith is trying to get to the 45, and Glenville, number 72, Lance Coker, along with Mitchell on the play for Cleveland Glenville. It will be a gain of almost 4 yards on the play for Fred Smith. Make it second down and 6 yards to go for the Falcons. The ball at their own 44-yard line. 10 minutes to go in the third quarter.
And it's important, I think, we get a drive going here, Randy, so that we can get control of the football game again here in the second half.
Glenville has certainly come out fighting in the second half. Handoff goes to Hawkins. Hawkins is dragged down by number 33 from Cleveland Glenville, Joe Sanders. I think we're going to get a touchdown out of this. I thought he was down, but it's touchdown Cleveland Glenville. Alan Harper takes the fumble in the air and went all the way down for the touchdown for Cleveland Glenville.
And those are the things that can hurt you, Randy. You know, they haven't done much from the line of scrimmage, but, you know, kickoffs, punt returns, you know, a situation like that, you know, just a loose ball, a freakish type thing, and they got a touchdown.
I think both us here in the booth and the Falcons on the field could be credited with a little overconfidence and a lackadaisical attitude.
Well, that certainly should get the attention of everybody. Cleveland Glenville takes the fumble and goes the distance for the score. They're going to go for 2. Quarterback pitches back on the option, and number 24 for Glenville has to cover the fumble, Andre Hicks, and Glenville comes up empty on a conversion attempt, but it is all of a sudden 20-6. Falcons over Cleveland Glenville.
And again, the point I tried to make, Randy and Kevin, the fact that, you know, we still have to establish something here in the second half, because just, you know, this is a good example of something that can happen to make them still feel that they're still in the football game, and you know, we could still have our hands full here.
That is the first turnover of the season that has cost the Falcons any points. They've had precious few, as we mentioned coming in. That is the second turnover tonight. Eric Luckage had a pass picked off, and now Leo Hawkins' fumble is picked off in midair, and it goes for the touchdown. Hawkins, Starry, and again Fletcher in the center deep to receive the second Cleveland Glenville kickoff in just a couple of minutes here in the second half. And Cleveland Glenville, coming out fighting, has gotten on the scoreboard to make a football game out of this again. It's 20-6 now, 9:37 left to go in the third quarter. Kickoff again on a squib kick on the ground. It's picked up by Fred Smith at the 35, and he's drilled right there. Cleveland Glenville doing a good job of covering. And the Falcons will start out on offense, and it's up to them to try and get things back in gear and get going here.
And the momentum has changed quickly, Randy. And again, this is something else that happens. You know, when you get a little bit lax mentally, you know, sometimes physically you're not putting forth, your best effort 100%. You relax a little bit, and you end up, maybe suffering or incurring an injury.
We have a Fitch player down on the field. We can't see who it is yet. We saw at the end of the first half a man was carried off the field. I think we decided that was John Dorenzo, who was helped into the locker room by his teammates. And now we have another Falcon down on the field. But you have a tendency sometimes to relax a little bit, and
Of course, this is what you hope doesn't happen, but in some cases does, and we hope that the individual that is down, is not seriously hurt.
They're still checking him out. Now it looks like they're going to help him up off the field. It's number 9, Rich Morrow. Morrow being helped off the field, and he's certainly an incredibly valuable Falcon. Coach Hartman on his way off the field is sending a little bit of encouragement over here to his offensive unit, and I'm sure Coach Hartman is not pleased with the flow of things as they've developed in this game. He knows he's got a long way to go, and his team has to get back into it mentally and physically, and I'm sure that he will get them fired up and get back on the stick here. All of us have sort of just drifted off on this hot, muggy night, and now we have to get back into it. It is 1st and 10 for the Falcons. The ball is at their own 33-yard line. Eric Luckage has Fred Smith and Leo Hawkins in the backfield. Now we have a penalty flag, and I think we're going to get delay of game.
And everything seems to be going haywire now, and of course we got to gather ourselves here and get things going and get the thing back on track again.
Delay of game penalty moves it back 5 yards, and now the Falcons have to go 15 yards to pick up the first down. It's 1st and 15 at their own 28-yard line with 9:06 left to go in the third quarter. 20-6, the Falcons up over the Glenville Tarblooders. Steve Iacobucci is in at split end. Handoff goes to Smith. Smith is across the 30-yard line, but he'll pick up very short yardage on the play. The Falcons had a new wingback in the ball game with Morrow being injured. Number 36, Joe Dolak, 5'9", 155-pound junior, is in at wingback.
And this is what happens sometimes when things come so easily, I guess, Randy. In the first half, you come back out in the second half and just take things for granted, I guess.
Glenville is certainly into the game. They're fired up. They think they have a chance now. Hawkins is the ball carrier, and Hawkins is stopped after no gain on the play, and it's going to be third down.
Stopped by Joe Sanders.
This is exactly what a coach hates to see. His whole team is just, in a sense, it's not matching the enthusiasm of Glenville, and they're not executing as well as they have been in the past game and in the first half.
Chris Bernai is coming into the ball game at the guard spot. We have 2 guards that tried to leave, and ending up leaving is going to be number 66, Dan Black. The other guard in the ball game is number 65. That's Tom Buck. 3rd down and 12 for the Falcons. The ball at their own 32-yard line. Handoff goes to Leo Hawkins. He's across the 35, but he's going to be well short of the first down, and the Falcons will have to punt for the first time this evening.
Stop was made by Victor Williams.
And wouldn't hurt now. Let's see a nice punt by Luck and kind of put Glenville in some poor field position there.
And of course, Glenville, with the excellent speed, is going to be a danger on the punt return. Back to receive the punt is Andre Hicks. Hicks is 5'8", 150-pound sophomore, and he will set up to receive the Luckage punt at his own 34-yard line. Line of scrimmage is the 37. Luckage gets off a short kick. It bounces at the 40 and is going to go out of bounds right about there. And Cleveland Glenville, which has a lot of momentum and enthusiasm on its side right now, will take over 1st and 10 at their own 40-yard line.
And we got to put a little pressure, I guess, on the defense now, guys. And, we've got to get the football back. Here's, again, sometimes where you'd like, I guess, I personally would have liked to have come out in the second half and played defense, because it's a little easier to get things going and get fired up on defense than it is offense. And, of course, that's my own personal opinion.
We have a new quarterback again for Cleveland Glenville. The original starter, Martin Haynes, is back in the ball game. He's firing his pass. It's complete to number 24. He's got running over on the side, going down the sidelines. He's finally knocked out of bounds. Glenville's speed certainly was in evidence there. Number 24, Andre Hicks, took that swing pass and got big yardage all the way down into Fitch territory at the 32-yard line.
I think they caught us in the man-to-man, right, Kevin? I know the cornerback over here, strong safety, vacated. He went with the split receiver, and they brought the back on a little flare router pattern, and, of course, the linebacker couldn't catch up with him.
Glenville comes out on offense with the big play on first down. The gain is all the way to the 32. 28-yard gain on the play, and the Falcons call timeout.
hopefully this will be a serious slap in the face for the Falcons and get them back into the ball game. A series of events that have gone against them the past 3 or 4 plays.
Glenville really getting into it on the sidelines. Their enthusiasm is getting higher and higher and higher. And the Falcons, I think, are just sort of shaking their heads like, what in the world's going on? Everything was so easy, and we had it in control, and all of a sudden Glenville comes roaring back. They've certainly done a good job, and it is 1st and 10 at the Fitch 32-yard line.
And things aren't looking so good right now, guys. Of course, we've just got to, what really has to happen is we've got to suck things up and stop them right now and get the football back. Or if we don't, it doesn't take 4 plays. We've got to create a turnover here to take some of that life and enthusiasm out of the Glenville team.
The bottom line is it isn't over till it's over.
7 minutes and 2 seconds left to go in the 3rd quarter. It is 1st and 10 for the Tarblooders at the Falcon 32-yard line. They are only down 2 scores. They can make things a lot more serious in a real hurry here. They got 28 yards on their last play. The quarterback is going to keep running on 1st down, and that is Haynes, and he was hit initially by Donnie Jones. Also coming up to help is number 57. And 57 for the Falcons is Frank Rich, who is in the ballgame, a junior. The gain by the quarterback was 4 yards on 1st down, and it will be 2nd and 6 for Glenville at the 28-yard line.
Number 84, Eric McMahon, came in to replace an injured Dan Sorrego at outside linebacker.
Quarterback right up the middle, and he's going to be close to a 1st down. Mark Haynes took it right up behind his center, number 55, Tim Taylor, and it should be it's good for a Cleveland Glenville 1st down.
And what has happened again is if you are watching there, the offensive line, you can see the right guard has about a 5 or 6 yard split at least. And what that means is, you coach or teach the down lineman to line up on head up or inside or outside shoulder. This creates a natural hole or seam. It spreads the defense out.
1st and 10, Glenville, 22-yard line. Quarterback keeper on the option to number 24. The speedster gets to the outside across the 20, but he'll be brought down at about the 18-yard line. Ted Sorrego leading the tackling for the Falcons. Hicks got to the outside, but he couldn't quite turn the corner. And boy, he has blazing speed coming out of that backfield.
Yeah, it's starting to get a little scarier, Randy, because they're getting a little bit more running room than what they got in the 1st half.
I'll tell you, this is a totally different-looking Glenville club than we saw in the 1st half.
Right, it's just something good happened. They picked that loose ball up and scored, so now they, again, feel that they can win the football game. They're still in it.
Gain of 3 on the play. 2nd and 7, Glenville at the Fitch 18-yard line. Handoff on the reverse, and the man gets by the first, Donnie Jones, and he's got by the next man, Ted Sorrego. He's down inside the 10. Number 20 for Cleveland Glenville, David Mitchell, broke a couple of tackles, and he'll have another 1st down.
And again, the speed, this is where it's very evident. Get him out in the open field, and that, as we've pointed out several times before, is the most difficult play in football, is to bring down somebody with that kind of speed, one-on-one out in the open field.
We knew Glenville had potential. They played an exceptionally tough Worcester team in the 1st game of the season, only lost 19-14, and they are really coming back strong here in the 2nd half against the Falcons. 1st and goal for Glenville at the 8-yard line. 5 minutes, 5 seconds left to go in the 3rd quarter. The pass is complete to number 35 for Glenville. He breaks a tackle at the 7 and goes inside the Fitch 5, and penalty flags fly.
And again, that's got to be on us.
It's going to be a late hit against Eric McMahon, and it's going to give Glenville 1st and goal at about the 2-yard line, maybe the 1.5. Personal foul against the Falcons.
Right now, nothing seems to be going right for the Falcons.
And you have to give the Glenville coaching staff a lot of credit because they are utilizing their personnel. They're throwing little swing passes. They're running some reverses, but they're trying to get them one-on-one out in the open field if they can, because again, we pointed out they've got all that speed, and it's making it tough on our defense, outside people in particular.
2nd and 2 now for Glenville at the Fitch 2-yard line. This drive started at the Glenville 40, and they've just flown down the field. The quarterback keeper, touchdown Glenville. That makes the score 20-12 in favor of the Falcons. And we'll have to see. Last time Glenville went for the two-point conversion and came up empty, and I'm certain they will do that this time. That would put them within 6 of the Falcons, and then they could win on a touchdown and a one-point conversion.
And my, how fast things can change. This is just a completely different football team, and of course, we've got our hands full now. It's a football game.
The Glenville Tarblooders are going to go for 2. They're going to throw for it. Haynes throwing into the end zone. It's intercepted by Donnie Jones, and the conversion is no good. That makes the score Austintown Fitch 20 and Glenville 12. The Falcon players are just sort of standing around dazed, as I'm sure everyone is. We are, and the fans are too. Glenville sky high, lots of enthusiasm, and we've really got to get things back together here and take charge.
What looked like an easy win for the Falcons going into the halftime is now a real test to see if they can come back and become alive here in the second half. They haven't showed anything that they showed in the first half. It's night of the living dead out there for the Falcons.
Glenville is really excited.
And I think somebody hypnotized us, because even looking at the bench over there, guys, there's not a whole lot of enthusiasm, and that's where it's got to start from. Those guys over there on the sideline have got to get behind those guys and try and get them up and get things going, and of course the crowd will get into it if we can just do something good here.
We can use a big play to change the momentum really quick.
Again, Fletcher back deep, and I think that's more a reflection of Glenville's short kicks than anything else. There's again a bouncing kick. Freddie Smith takes it to his 35. He's across the 40, but good coverage again by Glenville. Drops him immediately. It will be 1st and 10 for the Falcons at their own 41-yard line, and the Fitch fans getting a cheer to try and get things fired up and get back into the ball game here.
It's imperative that the Falcons do well on the drive here. This is the most important offensive possession of the ball game so far.
Eric Luckage, the quarterback. 1st and 10, Fitch. Handoff goes inside to Smith. Smith is hit at the 42-yard line, drives out across the 45. It will be a gain of 4 or 5 on first down.
Again, a good example of how important that home field advantage of the crowd is, Randy. Last week, fortunately, we brought probably as many people over there as Boardman had there. And, it was a very boisterous crowd. And, of course, I think this was a big part of the win, big part of the victory. And, well, tonight I think these people probably are almost in the same mood as we were in there for a while, because nothing really was happening exciting, and we kind of lulled people to sleep, I guess.
Gain was 4 yards on the play. Handoff goes to Hawkins. He's hit after he crosses the 45-yard line. It will be 3rd and about 3 or 4 to go for the Falcons, and this is an important conversion for the Falcons. They need a first down here real bad.
It looked like Leo had it to the outside there. If he'd have just made that little dip inside and come back outside with his speed there, I think we had the corner. We had a good lead block or 2 out there, and we could have had a big football play there.
Glenville using its quickness, and it's 3rd and 4 for Fitch at the 48-yard line. Handoff. Fumble. And it's going to go for another Glenville touchdown. This is the most unbelievable series of events we've seen in a long time. That is the second Fitch fumble that was recovered and taken for a touchdown tonight, and suddenly it is 20-18, and the Falcons are in big, big trouble.
And again, we mentioned several times, Randy, I know you have about the turnover, something that, we haven't had up to this point. All of a sudden now we have 2 very costly ones.
Visions of last year are filling my head, and it's not very pretty sight.
Glenville is going to take a timeout here. They need the 2-point conversion to tie the ball game. And when the Falcons needed the big play, not only didn't they get it, but it turns into another big touchdown, fumble recovery, and return by Cleveland Glenville. And I don't think anybody in this stadium can believe what's happening.
I know I don't, Randy. But again, the mood of the football team was probably, as we pointed out, the same as the crowd wanted. Things went too easily there in the first half, and we come out here in the second half, and obviously the worst thing that happened was that first fumble that they picked up and ran for a score. They didn't have to work for a touchdown.
Well, that is 2 times that the Fitch turnovers cost points, and the hallmark of our success this year has been doing that to the opposition. And, you have to look back also now to the first half where we had a couple of chances where after their turnovers that we didn't turn those into points when we really could have blown things out. 20-0 certainly seems safe, but obviously we've seen that lead evaporate. I mean, it's just gone here in less than a quarter of football. And, things have gone steadily downhill since we've started the second half. There are almost 3 minutes left to go in the third quarter, and the momentum is clearly behind the Glenville Tarblooders. Falcons trying to stop this 2-point conversion. Quarterback keeper, and he's going to be driven out of bounds. They don't come up with the 2, and maybe that will generate some enthusiasm for the Falcons. They retain the lead, but it is certainly precarious.
That could be a game saver. Yeah, that's a big tackle there, big stop there, and of course, as you pointed out, Randy, that might get things going, light a fire under some people there, and get the momentum going in our way, I hope.
Rich Turner made the point-saving tackle, driving the quarterback, Martin Haynes, out of bounds. So it remains 20-18, Fitch over Cleveland Glenville.
To re-emphasize with both you and Mr. Rourke have said so far, Randy, it's the fact that big plays make or break a ball game. They have helped us so far through the season, and now Glenville has taken advantage of the big play. And like I mentioned before, last year against Warren Western Reserve and a couple other teams, the big plays went against us. And ball games in which we should have won, we ended up losing.
We lost to Canton McKinley on a touchdown on a kickoff return and 1 on a punt return. Lost to Warren Western Reserve with 2 blocked punts for touchdowns for Reserve. And this ball game that seemed sort of like a dream at the beginning has turned into a nightmare in the second half.
We've been getting some good field position, too. That's what's sad.
Once again, a squib kick. Freddie Smith takes it. He breaks a tackle at the 40, and he's dropped across the 45, 46-yard line. The job now is hold on to the football and get some more points on the board. There is a timeout on the field. A Glenville Tarblooder is down. Number 21, Victor Williams, is down on the field for Glenville.
I already see a change in the Falcons earlier in this half. They were walking on the field after change possession, but now they came running out. It looks like they're ready to play again.
Well, there's absolutely no doubt that if we can regain our character here, the nature, the excitement and enthusiasm we've seen out of Falcons this half, we can still certainly win this football game, but it's just a matter of being able to shake off the days, get excited, get back into it, and take control, because we still certainly have the personnel to win the football game, and we just have to take some of the wind out of the Glenville sails where they've been so excited and fired up, and try and take advantage of that and turn it on them.
Yeah, it just takes something positive. If we could just pick up even not just 1 first down, but we need 2 or 3. And if we don't score, at least it changes the complexion of the game a little bit and gets, the momentum on our side again, back on our side of the football. But we just haven't done anything here in the second half, whether it be offensively or defensively, to get, people excited, whether it be the crowd or the football team. So hopefully we'll get something going here.
Now, I see something that looks like a little bit of a change. I'm not sure about it. I don't see Eric Luckage out there. He seemed shaken up after the fumble on the play that went for the touchdown for Glenville. And right now, Ted Sorego looks like he is in the ball game at quarterback for the Falcons. I certainly hope Eric Luckage isn't hurt. I know he stayed down on the field for a while after the play, that the fumble he had that went for the touchdown, so we'll have to check things out and see what the situation is.
What the Falcons so far hopefully have learned is a good lesson in football, is always stay excited, and luckily they're learning this early against a team they probably can come back against, because their next remaining schedule is an uphill battle, and it would be too late to learn this lesson then.
Well, we certainly hope that the lesson turns out to be a positive one, and it doesn't really hurt us with a loss to a team that we should beat. We'll find out. We have 2:53 left to go in the third quarter, and of course the entire fourth period left to go in what has become a tense football game. Falcons enjoyed a 20-0 lead at halftime, and suddenly it's 20-18. The crowd hollering for the Fitch offense to get it going. 1st and 10 at the 47. Handoff to Hawkins. Hawkins is going to be dropped for a very short gain. It'll be out at about the 50-yard line, maybe the 49.
Leo
And what is happening also here is you notice, they were trying to get penetration in the first half, but it seemed like we had the right play call at the right time. But now it seems like, that penetration seems to be where we're running the football at. And they're probably still gambling as much, but we still got to hope that we break one here and change things around.
The gain was 4. It's 2nd and 6 now. Handoff inside to Hawkins, and he will be dropped after a gain of about 1 or 2 on the play. Again, Glenville does a pretty good job. Number 33, Joe Sanders, who forced the Leo Hawkins fumble, was on it. Also, number 37, Leonard Davis.
Glenville in halftime in the locker room must have gone through a metamorphosis, because suddenly they're coming out as a strong, fired-up ball club that's not giving the Falcons an inch.
Another important third down play, 3rd and 4 at the 47 of Cleveland Glenville. Teddy Sorrego on the fire. He tried to get the pass to Freddie Smith, and he couldn't complete it, and the Cleveland Glenville defense does the job. It's 4th down, and the Falcons will have to punt.
And what I've been thinking about right along here, especially when that play came up, Randy, is now we've got to go with a different punter. We've got somebody probably maybe kicking the football that hasn't punted yet this season, so hopefully, we can get the job done here.
I'll tell you what, the Falcons are going to take another timeout. That is the second Fitch timeout of the second half. They only have 1 left. Glenville is really feeding on enthusiasm. They came up with a crucial play to try and stop Fitch, 3rd and about 4, and they did the job. They got good penetration, forced Ted Sorrego to throw with a man holding onto his jersey when he tried to throw, and he couldn't complete the pass to Freddie Smith. And we're just going to have to see. The Falcons taking the timeout, and I'm not sure exactly whether it's to see whether they're going to go for it or they're going to get a new punter in the ball game. I think they're going to get a new punter, number 44 for the Falcons. Well, that's Brian Cole. 45, excuse me, and that is Todd Cannon checking in. I'm not sure.
He was doing some kicking, I know, in pregame there, and they have 3 punters out there. Rich Morrow, I think, also was one of the punters, but Rich
is also out of the ball game injured.
Disabled list also right now.
Situation is getting more critical by the minute. The Falcons have the lead, but certainly things haven't gone well. 45 is indeed in the ball game to kick. Todd Cannon, 6-foot junior. The handoff goes to Hawkins on a short snap. They're trying to get it, and Glenville stops it. The direct snap went to Leo Hawkins. Glenville would have none of it, and they get great field position, and that's going to just get them even higher.
When it rains, it pours, and right now for the Falcons, this is a definite thunderstorm.
We were worried about rain, but this isn't what we expected.
What may have hurt that a little bit or somewhat was the fact that we did have a timeout and maybe made them think about us maybe going. If we could have come out and maybe went right off.
Falcon defense is disorganized. Glenville going for it on 1st down. They have a man that's trying to get out there. Number 21 was the intended receiver, Victor Williams, but the pass was well overthrown. The Fitch defense was disorganized getting back out onto the field, and we sort of dodged the bullet right there. It's 2nd down and 10, but, you got a feeling like, just hold on for dear life here.
Yes, Randy, the thing I was thinking about there while that play was taking place was the fact, we mentioned Rich Morrow was hurt, but I think Rich probably is one of our key blockers offensively. So now you take somebody out like that, and of course, we have mentioned several times that Glenville is playing very aggressive football now, but you take somebody out like that of your offense, and probably maybe a block or two maybe is costing us for maybe, a big play.
And of course, Rich Morrow is the outstanding free safety of the Falcons. He's out of the ball game in that spot. Also, Mike Starry moved back to free safety. Haynes looking to throw deep again. Number 24, the intended receiver, and he was alone because Mike Starry fell down, and we dodged another bullet there. Again, the pass was incomplete because it was overthrown, but that receiver had 5 yards on everybody after Mike Starry fell down.
Thank Tom Buck and Dan Sorrego for that one. They were able to put enough pressure on the quarterback, so he had to release the ball as soon as he could.
I'm kind of thanking the Glenville coaching staff, because really they were kind of picking us apart with the short stuff there and just trying, to run little flares and swing passes and that type of thing. And, they're trying to maybe, go for the quick score, and hopefully, we play the kind of defense, especially in the secondary that we have up to this point.
3rd and 10 for Glenville. The ball is at their own 49-yard line. And it's hold your breath time, Falcons. Haynes firing. The pass is just dropped by the receiver, and we got lucky on that. 21, Victor Williams should have had that pass, and we got another injured Falcon down on the field, and boy, I'll tell you, looks like a cramp, but the secondary,
we're not going to get into that. Please.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'd be happy to get back to the point where the better we have to talk about is whether or not heat or cold or dampness causes cramps.
I thought we were going to have to be concerned how Bobby Ewing came back on Dallas, but not anymore. It's starting to rain now in Falcon Stadium.
And what we're doing again in the secondary, you know, they're sitting there again kind of playing the men, and you know that outstanding speed that Glenville has, the quarterback has actually been throwing the ball over the coverage, and they're coming close to running under the football. Instead of trying to stay, you know, as they always say, deep is the deepest, we're kind of sitting back there flat-footed, and he's actually throwing it over our heads, and we've been very fortunate not to have two scores there, or what? Score anyway up there.
You're
the one would have nullified the second one, the first one, but they've come close to putting 6 up there on the board.
Well, Leo Hawkins is back and to receive the punt, if indeed that's what Glenville does. We saw Glenville go for it on 4th down at their own 20-some yard line in the first half. You never know what they're going to do at their own 49. They've got lots of speed out there. I've seen a lot of those guys in the 20s checking into the ball game, and that is just nothing but speed. David Williams, Andre Hicks, all those guys can fly.
And this worries me because now the field probably will become somewhat slick, and of course they usually know where they're going, and the defense doesn't know where they're going, and you know, you lose some footing here and there, and look out.
Brian Cole was the man that was injured. He had a cramp, and he goes off the field. He looks like he's okay. He's gingerly going over to the bench where they'll keep working on him. And here we go. Fitch is back to receive a punt, but we'll have to figure out what they're going to do.
Hopefully.
And they're going to run for it. Penalty flag is down. This play is going to come back, but the play isn't going to go for the first down anyhow. Chris Bernard, Donnie Jones, Dan Sorego, and Doug Wilhelm, along with Rich Turner, all on the ball carrier. You just figured that Glenville wasn't going to go for it. There's a penalty flag that was thrown in the backfield. I'm sure that will be holding against Glenville, but I'm sure the Falcons will decline. They do, and Fitch will take over on offense.
And I hate to be critical of coaches, Randy and Kevin, but, you know, I thought they made a boner in the first half when they went for it, but, of course, they were down 20-zip, and at that time looked like maybe, you know, things were out of hand. But here, you know, they're up, they're only down by 2, only up by a 20-18 score. They kick us in the hole, and the way things have been going, they did us a big favor.
Of course, the way things have been going in this second half, everything has worked for them. Nothing's worked for the Falcons. Maybe they thought, you know, the Guardian Angel was really working on their side, and they'd come up with it. Handoff goes to Donnie Jones, and Donnie's going to be thrown for a loss.
And what we're up against now, I think, too, is almost like a 9-man front. They're just totally disregarding the pass, and they're just ganging up on that line of scrimmage, and we're having a difficult time executing up front right now.
The loss on the play is considerable. Well, no, I guess the man with the stick just thought it was worse. It's going to be a loss of a yard or 2 on the play, make it 2nd and 12. There are only 30 seconds left in the third quarter. It seemed like this quarter has lasted all night long. Handoff went to Hawkins, and there was almost a fumble in the backfield. Leon driving down across the 45 of Cleveland Glenville. Great effort by Leo. But it looked like he almost didn't get the handoff on that play from Teddy Sorego, and my heart skipped about 3 beats. Unfortunately, Leo's kept going, and he got pretty good yardage, so it'll be 3rd and about 3, and the Falcons have to get a first down here.
Well, that run was able to stop the rain. I think this ball game's going the other direction now.
And Leo did run straight ahead that time, was able to break some tackles. And it does get scary, Randy, when he starts to spin. That's what happened the last time, I think. You know, he tried to spin out of a tackle, and one guy tackled the football, and another one tried to tackle him, and they managed to strip the ball loose, and it almost happened again.
Well, another bad sign is the Lane paramedic ambulance is headed over to the Fitch sidelines, and I don't know who we have hurt. Do you know who it is, Kevin?
Yeah, it's Eric Luckage, I think.
Eric
They're
Luckage.
leading him over to the paramedic van.
Oh, boy. The Falcon quarterback and punter is being, it looks Now, Eric is helping someone else, I think. I don't know who it is. It might be Rich Morrow. I don't see Rich anywhere around there.
Yeah, whoever is getting into the ambulance does not have their shoulder pads and jersey on, and it looked like it was either 30 or 80 who was helping that individual, Randy.
Well, back on the playing field, we are starting the fourth quarter. The score is 20-18 in favor of Austintown Fitch. Third down, 3 yards to go. Ted Serrego is the quarterback. There's movement by the Glenville man into the neutral zone, and unless he was pulled, that's going to cost Glenville 5, and thank goodness that's going to give Fitch a first down. That is the call.
That injured player may be Freddie Smith. He's no longer in the ball game at fullback.
Well, we got lots of possibilities. I'm certain we'll find out who it is later. We have Rich Morrow out of the ball game. We have Eric Luckage out of the ball game. Fred Smith out of the ball game. You know, guys, we have just about the entire starting backfield gone right now.
I didn't realize we had that many people hurt, guys, but I guess we do. So now we're going with a few people without much experience.
Handoff goes to Hawkins. Hawkins is really hit by number 20 from Glenville, David Mitchell, but Leo is able to keep going. He gets pretty good yardage on first down, and the weight of the Falcon offense is squarely on the shoulders of Leo Hawkins at this point. Good yardage on the first down carry. He'll get about 7. They'll call it 6. It's 2nd and 4 for Fitch at the Glenville 33-yard line.
I think you're right, Randy. This is what we're going to see now. We're going to see Leo carrying the football probably 3 out of every 4 times.
The line has certainly got to do the job to get Leo the running room. Number 44, Brian Cole, is in the ball game for the Falcons at fullback, and he is the ball carrier. He makes a nice move, and he'll get another Fitch first down about the 25-yard line.
That's how much I know.
Well, our stadium announcer said Fred Smith, but I'm afraid it's not. It's Brian Cole. I wish it were Fred Smith out there. Not that Brian's not doing a nice job, but you just hope that Freddie isn't injured.
Well, I'm not one for superstition, but as the Falcons were going into trouble there, it was raining, but now they're doing good and it's not. I don't know if there's a correlation there.
Well, there's the meteorological factor.
Oh, here we go. Now we're in it.
We've gone beyond medicine to handoff in physical reasoning. Handoff went to Brian Cole, and I hope you're right, Kevin.
Goal line.
Brad Smith, stopped by Victor Williams.
I think the Falcons regain the enthusiasm they need. The line's exploding off the ball and executing as well they were in the first half. It's evident by the yards that we're grinding down the field here.
Yeah, I think you're right, Kev. We're starting to move some people now. You've seen those white jerseys starting to move more back towards the goal line a little bit. We're getting off the ball a little better now.
2nd and 7 Fitch at the Glenville 21-yard line. Handoff goes to Cole, and he's smothered this time. 33. Joe Sanders, the linebacker, playing an excellent second half for Glenville, stops Cole after a gain of nothing. It's 3rd and 7, still at the 21.
Not that I have any future meteorological desires, but to bring up the weather again, the heat may have a factor on the Glenville defense and offense. They've been going out strong here in the first half, and they may be getting tired.
We're going unbalanced again here, guys.
Handoff goes to Hawkins inside, and he's down about the 17-yard line, but it's going to be 4th down for Fitch. They'll certainly go for it. It's going to be 4th and about 2 yards for the Falcons, and guys, we need this first down. We've got to get some more points on the board. That 2 points just scares me to death.
This is the most critical play for the Falcons of this game.
And I pointed out about going unbalanced. We haven't done it, I don't think, up to this point. I don't think Glenville realizes it, and hopefully, we can come up with a big first down here.
Hawkins is the ball carrier. He's hit close to the first down, but I don't think he's going to get it. Nope, no way. They're going to stop him short of the 15. He needed to cross the 15, and it is first down, Cleveland-Glenville.
Again, I think if Leo would have just made that little inside move and went outside there, had everything all jammed up inside there, I think he'd still be running. He may have taken it all the way to the goal line, but he chose to pick back. And, of course, like we always say, you can see things up here, obviously, that I know Leo can't always see down there.
1st and 10, Glenville at their own 16-yard line. 8 minutes, 52 seconds left in the football game. The challenge is on the banged-up Fitch defense. They're without most of their secondary right now, and that's where Glenville's going to go. The pass is complete to number 24. He slips down. There's a penalty marker down. I don't know what they're going to throw a penalty for. The guy slipped down and Fitch covered him, and I think we're going to get a late hit on the Falcons, and that seems like a pretty cheap penalty.
I don't know if either of you saw that, but before that play, there was a flash of lightning.
Yeah, somebody turned the lights on upstairs.
Fortunately, the flash of lightning may have been...
Maybe that's why he threw that flag.
Yeah, inadvertent flag. Maybe just scared the flag out of him.
No, that's a good one, Randy.
So,
let me write that down. That's another one. Little check mark next to Randy's name here.
Never mind that one. Well, the gain was a yard on the play, and it is 2nd and 9 for Cleveland Glenville. They take a timeout.
That's a very simple play, but it's still scary because, you know, they're getting at, and they've got still have that great speed, and they're getting them out there one-on-one, the wide side of the field, and that's one I hope they don't complete too often.
Certainly difficult to defense because the interior linemen basically have no effect in the play because he's releasing the ball so quick, and it leaves up to our secondary people, our corners and our halves and our strong safeties to come up and make the play, and that's tough against, like Mr. Rourke said, against the speed that the Glenville team has.
I think maybe the rain played a little bit of a factor there. He caught that pass and tried to make a cut, and I assume the field is a lot slicker than it was before, and he lost his footing. And so it may have cost him. And Kevin, your meteorological factor and this change in the flow of things may indeed be coming to pass, and I certainly hope you're right. Oh, and we have lots of excitement out to the northwest of us.
I apologize for ever mentioning rain in this second half.
These things we have in our hand, they're lightning won't affect us.
No, you in your hand.
Yeah.
Mine sitting on the table. 2nd and 9, Glenville. Haynes straight back to pass, looking, firing, and it is incomplete. The pass was intended to number 22, Alan Harper, and Harpin was hit by Brian Cole. Now, either Freddie Smith has changed his jersey to number 44 from number 42, or
that guy on the microphone.
Or that guy on the microphone is more mixed up than I was in the first half.
I think it's my son who's fighting for him.
What a combination.
Right.
3rd and 9 for Glenville. The ball is at their own 18-yard line. Still 8 minutes, 27 seconds to go in the fourth quarter. The second half has been an eternity.
And my heart is in my mouth because those are still coming very close to being receptions and one player away from being touchdowns.
Big play for Glenville, 3rd and 9, and there's a flag, and this is going to cost, too much time is going to cost them 5 yards. It seemed like that was taking forever, but I thought it was just me.
And really, the way Glenville is going, we would probably have to defend 2 more plays here, Randy. They've gambled from just about anywhere in the field, so, you know, I wouldn't put it past them to even go for it down in here.
This whole situation could be a plus for the Falcons. Glenville really doesn't have a kicking game. I watched them in the pregame. They don't have a very good punter because he had a 12-yard punt earlier in the game, and they don't really have a place kicker. That's why they've been going for the 2 points. So that could hurt Glenville in the end.
3rd and 14 now. Handoff is on the reverse, and the ball carries out across the 10, but he's going to be stopped way short. He's finally driven back from about the 12-yard line, and it will be basically no gain on the play, and it's going to be 4th and a long 14 to go for Cleveland Glenville. They're sending players in, and their quarterback's coming out, so you would think they're going to punt, but like you say, John, nothing's going to surprise you now. Fitch defense gets an outstanding hand from the fans who are doing their best to get things fired up for Fitch. Leo Hawkins and Brian Cole are back to receive for Fitch.
Yeah, Sorrego did a nice job there because he refused to get knocked off his feet, and he strung things out and gave, you know, the rest of our defensive people time to get into their pursuit angles and, you know, come up and help make the stick.
The punter from Glenville kicks it at his own goal line, and it goes out of bounds. Well, let's see. Maybe it's not. No, it's going to take a roll for Glenville out to about the 29-30-yard line.
And that's why they've been gambling, I guess, on 4th down.
Yeah,
Kevin made that point a minute ago here, and I guess they felt probably they weren't going to gain much by kicking the ball.
Yeah, with that kind of punting, going for it isn't a gamble, I guess.
No.
It's a necessity.
1st and 10 Fitch. The ball is inside the 30-yard line of Cleveland Glenville.
Well, guys, I'm going to go out on a limb and say I think we might have things going our way now.
The handoff, it's a fake by Ted Sorrego. He cuts it back into the inside, and he's hit hard. at the 27, 28-yard line. It looked like he was going to have some yardage, but a good hit by Cleveland Glenville. John, you made the point in the first half. Glenville does a nice job of hitting. They really stick you when you get out there.
Tell you, they've come to play, and fortunately, I think, that we just did a lot of things right there in the first half. It wasn't that we really totally out-hit them. We just happened to have the right plays on at the right time. But second half here, boy, I tell you, they've out-hit us, I think, the biggest part of the second half.
The gain was only 3. It's 2nd and 7 for the Falcons. Handoff comes to Hawkins. Hawkins cuts it back inside, and he has yardage down close to the 20-yard line. He'll be a yard or two short of the first down.
Tripped up by Rich Mitchell.
The Falcons can keep the ball on the ground on this drive and put it in the end zone, or even just get close. They should run off most of the time off the clock.
Well, I'd like to see them take about, 6 more minutes to do that, Ken?
Well, I'd like 6 minutes, and I want the score because I think those guys from Glenville can cover 100 yards in about, maybe 10, 11 seconds, and I'd rather there was, we had a cushion on some points besides just the clock. 3rd and 1 Fitch at the 21-yard line of Cleveland Glenville. Fumble on the play. Sorrego covers it. It looks like for the Falcons, but the officials are going to try and sort it out, and it's Glenville's football.
Glenville covers.
Again, that was a case of too much penetration, right, Kev? I think you probably seen what I did, Randy. Yeah, they almost had the handoff, which kind of bottled that play up.
It was a 3rd and 1 situation, and that is the 3rd turnover of the 4th turnover of the ball game for the Fitch Falcons. And Glenville again gets their enthusiasm up on the turnover. And it is hold your breath time again. 5:45 left to go. 1st and 10, Glenville at their own 26. Haynes on the quarterback keep. He's got room to the outside. He's finally drilled by a couple of Falcons after a short or no gain, and a penalty flag goes down. We may have holding against Glenville.
Nothing like that speed again. As you've seen Leo there cover a lot of ground and come up and really make an excellent stick on the quarterback.
The penalty flag is against Cleveland Glenville. It looked like holding on when Haynes was trying to get to the outside, and that, I think, is the call. There was no gain on the play, but I think the Falcons will probably march Glenville backwards and try and make it a long situation to pick up a first down here. And that's what they're going to do.
Well, certainly Coach Hartman's going to take advantage of the fact that Glenville doesn't have a strong kicking game.
15 yards against Cleveland Glenville. It will be 1st and a country mile for the Tarblooders. Oh, clipping is the call, not holding. Clipping is the call. And it is going to be 1st down from the 12-yard line. That will make it 1st and 25 yards to go. Penalty flag down. Now.
And this, in a way, even though it's going in our favor, we're seeing a lot of flags going in one direction. But of course, if the infractions are there, that's why the officials are there. They're supposed to call them. And of course, another thing I'm glad to see is Mr. Hawkins out there, number 33, because he does probably have the type of speed that might be able to catch one of their receivers if they happen to do break one on us.
1st and 30 now for Glenville from their 7-yard line. Looking to throw deep, firing out to this sideline, and it is incomplete. 2 Falcons were there covering, Leo Hawkins and Brian Cole. That may well be Freddie Smith. Maybe he had his jersey torn, but whoever it was, did a good job.
They stood there on the 30-yard line and let the ball just sail over their head and let the receiver sprint by them. They're not, getting, as we say, deep as the deepest, and it's a good thing the quarterback just ran out of arm there, because another 3 or 4 yards and they had a completion.
Well, the secondary misses Rich Morrow. There's no doubt about that. He's just an outstanding football player, and he plays the free safety spot as well as we've seen anybody play it in maybe years.
And of course, this could be Glenville's thinking now. They know that they probably have somebody that hasn't been back there, and they're kind of picking on him a little bit.
2nd and 30 now for Glenville at the 7. Quarterback scrambling, and he gets by one man. Donnie Jones, however, wraps him up as he crosses the 13-yard line. He'll get out close to the 14 or 15. There'll be a gain of about 6 yards on the play, but it's still going to be 3rd and a long way to go for Cleveland Glenville. It should be 3rd, about 21 yards to go for Cleveland.
And we need 2 good defensive football plays here right now.
We have 4 minutes and 40 seconds left to go in the football game. It is 20-18 in favor of the Falcons, and we're just trying to hold on for dear life. Not only do we have a scare on the scoreboard, but it's sort of scary seeing the number of the top-flight Falcon players that are injured and out of this football game, and we certainly hope they aren't serious injuries, because that could affect us tonight and down the road when we really need them. 3rd and 21. Short drop back, penalty flag down, and quarterback is still on his feet, and he's finally dropped. It looks like the ball is loose, and who's got it?
We think we do, but we'll find out here in a second. Now it's 4th down.
4th down, Glenville comes up with the fumble. Penalty flag goes down, and I think the Falcons are going to get nailed for a penalty because of saying something about who got the football. And if so, that's a really serious, well, that's a youthful mistake.
Donnie Jones was in there looking for his 5th fumble recovery. He was at the bottom of the pile there with the Glenville player.
This is going to be a dead ball foul, and I think it's going to be assessed on the Falcons. It was 4th down. I don't know whether this is going to carry or not. I don't know if it's unsportsmanlike. Let's see. The penalty is holding against Glenville and personal foul against the Falcons.
Glenville, personal foul against the Falcons.
I don't understand that second one, because normally personal foul means that somebody maybe took a cheap shot at somebody, threw a punch or whatever, but the ball, was dead. There was no activity, no action going on, and all of a sudden the official, if the young man would have said something, it would have been unsportsmanlike conduct. That's kind of puzzling.
This is a serious penalty, because the first penalty, the holding against Glenville, is only half the distance against Glenville, and that's only going to cost them a few yards. But then they're going to send the ball 15 yards back upfield against the Falcons.
We're going to decline that first one, Randy, and that'll make it 4th down, and still give them probably maybe about 12.
Now let's see.
10, 12 yards,
now we
4th
sort
down.
this out. It's only 3rd down.
15-yard penalty assessed against the Falcons for a personal foul.
I think you were right. I think
we took the penalty, and then we got the penalty. We took the holding, and then the penalty was tacked on, and it's only 3rd down, and that's just a real scrambled up mess. They should have declined the penalty.
I thought maybe that's what they might do.
Decline it. Start the clock. Now, Coach Hartman's out on the field, wants to know what's going on.
I think because he would give him one last down. Now
they're not going to give him any explanation, and we're going to run the 3rd down play. Now the official blows the whistle. And this is, they're going to start the clock. Oh, boy. Coach Hartman still wants to know what's going on. It's 3rd and 20. Okay. Pass is dumped off, and it's caught, but the man immediately slips down on the field. He's covered by Lil Hawkins. It's going to be 4th down.
In the 4th,
I would think they would go for it.
Cardinal 28, Cat McKinley 28.
Big game at YSU.
Boardman nothing, Youngstown East 6.
Boardman takes their 2nd straight loss, losing 6-0 to Youngstown East. A lot of fans cheer, but in the playoffs picture, that would have helped us for a Boardman win there. The Glenville Tarblooders get off a decent punt this time. Fair catch is called for, and it is covered at the 40-yard line, so the Falcons will take over, and after sort of a what's going on and what happened series for Cleveland Glenville, the Falcon defense survives it, and it is 1st and 10 for Fitch at the Glenville 40-yard line.
Well, what you're going to see now is what Glenville was showing most of the second half, is that stunning right up front in the middle, in which they try to mess up the mesh between the quarterback and the running back so that there's a fumble, which happened on the last fumble.
1st and 10 Fitch. 3 minutes to go in the game. Handoff goes to the Brian Cole Fred Smith question mark. He carries for a yard or two. Maybe nothing. Maybe
Stop by Leonard Davis.
I guess he got a foot or two. You have to give him credit for a yard, but it's still second down and almost 10 for the Falcons as they're trying to work on the clock to preserve a win. They need to pick up a couple of first downs to eat up the rest of this clock. Ted Sorrego is the quarterback. Long count. Handoff goes to Hawkins. Hawkins is going to be dropped for a loss. Glenville is doing the job on defense. It's going to be third and long for Fitch.
This is exactly what Coach Hartman didn't want. His objective is just to get a first down there, keep the clock moving. The Falcons could have rode this home for a victory, but right now, with a third and long situation, if they want the first down, they're going to have to throw it up, which is risky.
Glenville's done a good job forcing turnovers. Fitch has turned the ball over 4 times in this ball game, where they only had 3 turnovers the 4 previous games combined. Third and 11. Leo Hawkins looking to throw, firing downfield, and the receiver was bumped, bruised, and knocked down, and there's no flag. Maybe they ruled that it was not a catchable pass. You know, you get bumped around that much, and it's got to be more than incidental, but if the pass can't be caught, I guess that's why you don't call anything.
Yeah, that might be true, Randy. I think Rich, if he'd have just kept running straight down the field, I think he just kind of underestimated Leo's throwing ability, and Leo got the football to him, but he just stopped and turned around there instead of continuing his pass route. And
it looks to me like the Fitch Falcons are going to go for it on 4th and 11. Ted Sorrego, the quarterback, hands off up the middle to Cole or Smith. The gain was about 2 yards, and Glenville gets good field position.
And the only thing I could think of here is that we just lack total confidence in whoever the backup kicker or punter is, and they just don't want to risk maybe a block punt or something of that nature. That we've seen 2 of those scores already, and we wouldn't want to see 3. So maybe Coach Hartman is just going to rely on the defense, which is played considerably better here in the 4th quarter.
There's another injured player down for Fitch.
That was a good point, Mr. Rourke. I think it's just lesser of 2 evils. It's either I'd rather, as you said, have the ball right now and rely on the Falcon defense than take the chance of having some kind of mess up with a new punter.
1 minute, 37 seconds left to go in one of the strangest football games we've seen in a long time. Falcons were blowing out Cleveland Glenville 20-0 in the first half. We had 2 fumble recoveries that Glenville went about 40, 45 yards with for touchdowns. Then we had Glenville go on a 60-yard drive for a touchdown. It is 20-18 Fitch. We've had all kinds of injuries in this ball game for the Falcons, and they're having to carry another Fitch player. 44, if it's Brian Cole or Freddie Smith, whoever it is out this time. And Coach Hartman's talking to the officials, and he's walking off the field, and I'm sure the one word on his mind, we saw a headline last week, Fitch survives against Boardman, and everybody was upset about it. Survival is what we're looking for this time. 1 minute, 30 seconds to go. Pitch back, they're going to go for the flea flicker. The pass is thrown downfield, and it is incomplete. Mike Starry had a chance to intercept, but he couldn't come up with it. Penalty flag thrown on the play. Now what?
I think he went beyond the line of scrimmage.
Either that or it was a dead ball foul, but I think it was beyond the line of scrimmage.
The official is standing at right now, I think that indicates
loss of down.
You're right, Kevin. The halfback who was going to throw the pass went beyond the line of scrimmage. The line of scrimmage was the 38-yard line, and he threw it from about the 40. So the officials will mark off the distance, and that should be a loss of down also.
Of all the interceptions the Falcons have had this year, that one would have been a nice one.
Doug Wilhelm is in the ball game now at safety. Mike Starry's in the backfield. Rich Turner, Ted Sorrego, and Leo Hawkins, not the guys you're used to seeing out there. It's 2nd and 14 now. Haynes firing, and the pass is incomplete. There was a fight for the ball on the sidelines. Mike Starry and the Glenville receiver, and no one could end up coming up with it. So it will be 3rd and 14 now for Cleveland Glenville.
Good job again by the secondary. We had a little better coverage there than we had on, I think it's probably 3 or 4 previous plays. Even that last halfback pass there, was a little bit scary.
1 minute, 13 seconds left to go in the football game. Fitch 20, Cleveland Glenville 18. 3rd and 14 from the Glenville 35-yard line.
Did you ever think that we'd be here with 1 minute and 13 seconds to go biting our nails?
No, I thought I was going to be giving coaches assignments. Pass is complete to the 40-yard line. He's covered immediately by Donnie Jones, number 82, the tight end for Cleveland Glenville. Donnie Rembrandt.
Clock continues to run.
Rembrandt made the reception, but he gained only a few yards, and it will be timeout for Cleveland Glenville. We're down to 49 seconds. It is 4th and 9. And of course, Glenville certainly is not going to punt here. The ball game is on the line for them on this series because certainly the Fitch offense could run off the remaining time.
Of course, we can look back again to, I think we all agreed that one play there, that extra point attempt, a conversion attempt where we stopped the ball carrier a few yards short of the goal line was going to be a big play, and hopefully that, at least that is the difference. It will end up being the difference.
Rich Turner made that stop, driving the Cleveland Glenville quarterback, Martin Haynes, out at about the 2-yard line, and that is the difference in the football game right now.
Glenville right now is in a definite dilemma because of their lack of a kicking game. They have only one choice: score a touchdown to win this ball game. They really don't have the field goal potential to get within range and kick the ball.
Their immediate problem is trying to get 9 yards on this play to come up with a first down, and then they have to worry about the clock with 49 seconds left to go right now to get down into scoring position. You assume that if they had to, they might try the field goal, but as Kevin said, they don't demonstrate that they have that ability. If they had converted the 1-point conversion on the 3 touchdowns they scored, they'd be ahead right now. 4th and 9, big play, Fitch defense. A lot of pressure on the quarterback. He lost the ball up in the air, and it's knocked down. Great play by Rich Turner, and he knocks the ball away. It would have been complete for the first down, but the Falcons will take over on down. Excellent play, John.
And really what made that play, I think, was the defense that Coach Kenny put us in there. He just brought a whole bunch of people. They've been taking those wide splits, and he put so much pressure on the quarterback, he had to throw the ball much sooner than he wanted to. And of course, Rich Turner made a great play. He reacted well to the football.
The Falcons will simply fall down on it. Leo Hawkins lines up at the 49. The line of scrimmage is the 40. Ted Sorego is just going to fall on the ball to run out the clock. And it's down to 35 seconds. There's a loss on the play, but of course it's the clock that counts right here. You have to give Cleveland Glenville all the credit in the world. They came out at halftime trailing by 20 points, took advantage of the turnovers, and really took it to the Falcons. And I'll tell you what, it's obvious now we're going to win this football game. But guys, the injury situation is really critical.
Yeah, we're missing not just one, but at least three key performers. And hopefully there are no serious injuries.
The clock runs out, and this week, indeed, the Fitch Falcons survive. The final score is Austintown Fitch 20 and Cleveland Glenville 18.
Well,
and, Kevin, you talked about learning a lesson, about enthusiasm and keeping in it and physical injury and everything else under the sun. And we survived this game and won it 20-18, but we have to look ahead to what we can do against the rest of our schedule. We survived here, we held on to win, but this certainly should take any notion of overconfidence away from anybody.
In a way, this will definitely help the Falcons in the future. There's no doubt in the next 2 or 3 days the coaches won't let the Falcons forget this close victory that they had where they had a 20-0 lead. However, after around Monday, they'll put this victory behind them and the troubles they had, and they'll look totally forward to Massillon. They cannot look behind them. They could be 0-5 or 5-0 like they are right now. Massillon's going to be a tough team. There's no way the Falcons can play like they did in the second half and beat Massillon. So I think hopefully the Falcons will learn a good football lesson from this, take that knowledge and put it forward to the future, because they got a tough 5-game schedule here at the end of the season.
John, looking at the flow of things and the injuries, you just sort of have to say, hold your breath and see what the situation is when you prepare for what we know is going to be a real tough game with the Massillon Tigers next week.
Well, you want to be as healthy as possible. You like to go into that type of a football game, 100% healthy. But I don't know. Some of the, when you see ball players leaving in an ambulance, you start to wonder, just how serious those injuries are. But this is what we talked about, the fact that, the kids mentally, that's probably, you said Coach Hartman, that was his most difficult task, I think, during the week, was trying to convince them, that Glenville did have a good football team. We had to go out there and play and give 100%. When you don't, this is sometimes when, especially in a sport like football, you incur injuries because you're not going full tilt sometimes, and things like that will happen.
To bring up a notion from last year, this same situation happened to us in the midseason. We went to Paul Brown Stadium, played Massillon, we defeated Massillon, then we had a